Slipping through the night, lonely satellite, only satisfied. Slipping through the night. Slipping through the night, lonely satellite, only satisfied. Slipping through the night, slipping through the night, lonely satellite, only satisfied. Slipping through the night.
Welcome to the Incredible Connection All-Star Gaming Twitch channel, and friends, it is the final All-Star Gaming Underground Grand Finals, and this week we're doing League of Legends. My name is TechGirl. I'm going to be keeping you company for a little while, along with a few other familiar faces and voices, and I'm really excited to introduce them to you in a bit. But first, I want to do a huge big thanks to Incredible Connection before we begin. Now, I know sometimes when a host at an event starts talking like this, you shut up and you kind of your ears switch off. Don't do that, because look what Incredible Connection has done in the last 2 months. They entered the gaming space with All-Star Gaming, and they have thrown so much at us. They have made sure that every week you get to see the best South African content creators on their stream. They've given them stacks of prizes to give away to you, the fans. We've had esports tournaments every week, not only with All-Star Underground, but we've done some massive ones as well with CSGO and FIFA and Apex Legends. And they are just throwing their weight behind the gaming community in South Africa. And I think it's time that we throw our weight behind them as well. Make sure that you support them. The festive season is here. If you want to get some cool gaming gear, maybe as gifts, maybe for yourself, also you should always treat yourself first, just putting it out there. All you need to do is head on over to any Incredible Connection store. They've got an All-Star Gaming setup in a lot of them where you can get peripherals, great PC parts, anything, whether you're console, PC, even if you want to play mobile, they've got everything you need. And you can also shop online. I've actually used their site. You just head on over to incredibleconnection.co.za, click the All-Star Gaming link. They've got everything you need there. Their service is fantastic, lots of great deals. Just show them a little bit of love and support, because they're definitely showing us a lot of love and support. And there is something else you can actually buy on credit with Incredible Connection, and it's interest free, that's pretty cool. If you really want to treat yourself in December, then make sure you do that. So also share some love on social media, hashtag IC All-Star Gaming. Let them know that we appreciate them, because I think that we really should support the sponsors that get behind esports, no matter the title, and let them know that South African gamers have got their back. Now, I mentioned all the prizes and all the giveaways, so you know how we're going to start the day. If you've been with us for the last few weeks, I'm going to start straight away with a giveaway. I don't know if you've had a chance to see this yet, but the Logitech G League of Legends special edition, if you like, and I think it's also limited, has dropped in South Africa. It is available in Incredible Connection, and we actually have an entire set to give away. It is all League of Legends branded. It looks absolutely incredible. You can get a keyboard, a mouse, a headset, and we're going to be giving it away. If you want to win it, here's what you have to do. You need to head on over to Twitter, check out the Incredible Connection Twitter page and the Metal State Twitter page. They've both tweeted about this epic hamper. Just reply there, comment on social media, and you'll go into the draw and potentially win. It's really sick. The headset I'm wearing right now, you can get that, but it's in blue and gold. It's just amazing. Go do that. And today, because this is the last All-Star Underground competition, at the end of the stream, we are giving away a 25,000 Rand desktop PC. You've probably seen it over the last few weeks. It's been on social media. We get to announce the winner today. So if you want to win that, the great Incredible Connection mods are going to drop a link in the chat. You'll just have to be following the IC All-Star Gaming Twitch channel. Click on that link, make sure you filled in your details, and you're going to go into the draw. And I can't believe I get to give someone that PC later today. And I can't cheat and give it to myself, which kind of sucks. Oh, well, let's get into something that doesn't suck. It is time for the grand finals. 30,000 Rand up for grabs. League of Legends. This is my first time ever doing this game. I've done a lot of games, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I know that I've got two experts to help me out. Androva and Sheepii are here with me. Androva, the first time I get to see you on an esports broadcast, I am hyped. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. Chat, be kind, please. But I'm super excited to see some great League of Legends to go down today.
I'm excited. The chat will be kind, but remember, just don't read it. I lie. I'm going to be reading it. And I will be mean to you if you're mean to Androva. Sheepii, we're going to be relying heavily on you here, because, I mean, Androva, she's got that League of Legends experience, but it is her first time casting. This is my first time doing this title, so you're going to have to steer the ship. You're our captain now.
Right, no pressure, no pressure at all. I mean, I'm feeling incredible. I think we have a really, really good series on our hands. So I'm super excited, as well as getting a little bit of practice with Androva over the last couple of days. Just getting that league practice that we definitely need. I feel like we've built up quite a nice synergy, so I feel like it really should be a good production today.
Now that we've had our little desk huddle and we've all hugged virtually, let's chat about what we're about to see, the grand finals. These teams have been playing throughout the week to get you, and our two finalists are Royal Esports and Five Lonely Men, which is a fun name. We'll deal with that a little later. They've actually met up before Sheepii. They met up in the round robins, and Royalty took this and got the victory, ended at the top of their group. Do you think it'll be the same today?
Honestly, okay, so we got kind of caught off a little bit by the Five Lonely Men over the last day or two with their, I guess, incredible outcome. We really did not expect them to get this far. We were happy to see them in the finals, though. It's definitely a nice bit of upset. Normally, I'm quite good at, I guess, predicting who gets to the finals, who takes the overall series, but this time, a little bit of a wrench in the work, if you will. So they're a team of players that we have seen in the SA scene in the past, but their top laner in particular is a new face. He's kind of like this big boy international player who's really been popping off, taking over in terms of just being able to destroy the champions, which was Instinct before this. So it's definitely something that potentially could come up with an upset here. On the other hand, though, Royalty looking really good as well. So it's gonna be a good series. I definitely am keen to see what the players have under their sleeves today.
So, for those of you in the chat who don't know anything about South African League of Legends, let me just paint a picture for you really quickly. So, ATK was the dominant team. They were on the top. We didn't see ATK enter this competition because in the last event, I think, and Sheepii will correct me if I'm wrong, Instinct was able to beat them. So, we haven't seen ATK yet. We, as a team, all thought we would see an Instinct Royalty matchup because Royalty has these incredible South African players. They've picked up some of the ATK players for this tournament, and we kind of thought that would be the matchup. But then the Five Lonely Men came in and shook the boat a little bit. Androva, you've had a chance to see Royalty, though. Why are we saying that they're probably the stronger team? What is it about them that stands out?
I think we've seen Five Lonely Men put on a spectacular performance, but I'm gonna say, like, just teamwork wise, I think Royalty are a pretty solid group of people. They seem to just work really well. They're really comfortable in all the roles that they play. Obviously, I mean, if you look at it on paper, they are higher ranked when it comes to league as well. But we're not going to focus on that all the time because upsets have happened. But I think definitely they've got teamwork and like just solid communication as well as confidence, which Five Lonely Men have slowly been showing. But I think Royalty definitely topping it for that.
Sheepii, Five Lonely Men have this incredible international player joining them, but this is a team game. So do you think on paper Royalty may be the stronger team just because they've got a lot of incredible players lined up, pulling some of those ATK players as well?
Right, so I mean, just looking at the roster, Royalty, they had a bit of a rough season last leg, and they went back to the drawing book, said, "Hey, we need to shake some stuff out, take out a player here, put in another player there," and I believe for this tournament in particular, their support was not able to play as far as I know. Instead, they grabbed an ATK support, which is unique, one of the highest ranked players in SA, which makes them in itself a much stronger team. So we definitely saw how he was able to play the map in some of the previous games leading up to this point, which you don't really see for majority of the supports in SA. So I think they're definitely looking a lot stronger than they were in the previous series before this. So I feel like that in itself makes them incredibly strong versus the likes of Five Lonely Men, which basically is a one-man wonder through that top lane. So a lot of pressure on this international to potentially just like outplay, I guess, the entirety of the SA's, I guess, top players. So it's not going to be an easy one to do. And honestly, I don't know if I have the faith in that Five Lonely Men top lane carry. But at the same time, I'd like to see what he has. He's shown us that he's very good. And I mean, he's had a bit of time, a bit of like a break since yesterday to kind of just, I guess, reapproach, see what needs to be done, and what he can potentially look to bring out today in terms of like trump cards.
So it is the tale as old as time. We've got the Five Lonely Men, the dark horses, if you like. They've created an upset already. And then you've got Royalty, who is quite strong. I mean, it is a new roster. They've changed it up a little bit, but we feel that they have some of the stronger players. And that's kind of going to set the scene for you. I'm hoping, chat, that we've done a good job. If you haven't watched League of Legends, we just want to make sure that you understand what is happening here. So we hope that we've painted that picture for you. 30,000 Rand up for grabs. It is a best of 5. And Androva, how important is it for, and I'm going to ask you to do this really quickly for me before we jump into game, but how important is it for South African League of Legends to have someone like Incredible Connection throwing their support into the title?
Was that to me?
That
sorry.
was to you. Got to give you the hard
was
question
to me?
before you start.
I'm so sorry. I think, I always thought of League as a really It doesn't get a lot of attention locally, like games like Call of Duty, CS:GO, even Apex to some extent, I think. And League is a really old game. League's been around for 11 years already, and I think we generally get pushed to the side a little bit because of maybe it's like ping issues. Players aren't able to reach their max potential locally. And I think having the backing of Incredible Connection behind this, we should, I hope, begin to see a lot more players wanting to put more time into League, wanting to join a team, and like escalate the local scene if we must. But yeah, I'm looking forward to today.
Well, I think that I've done enough of my best budget shocks impression. It's time to hand over to the pros. Let's get into the game.
Okay, so it looks like Champs Select a little bit in. We've missed that first ban phase, so far we do see that it is going to be Royalty on the right playing in red, and our new friends, the 5 Lonely Men in blue. So I'm glad to see the entire roster, or the main roster is back at it again. Yesterday having a bit of a sub coming through, I believe, through the bot lane or mid lane, Scarlet subbing in. So now instead having, I believe, Darkside back at it again, which is, I think, Pete's main support. They've got a bit more synergy, but as for whether you play support, this game is anybody's guess. So do you want to take us through the picks and bans so far, Androva?
Yeah, I'd love to highlight the bans on Royalty side. As you can see, all targeted towards that international top lane of 5 Lonely Men. If you guys caught yesterday's games, 5 Lonely Men's games, you would have seen the Trinda and Darius domination, as well as I think the Jax on Tuesday during, I guess it's the group stages or the knockout stages. So Royalty definitely going in to hard target that top lane. I think we've got 5 Lonely Men taking some very safe bot lane picks. We saw the same thing yesterday. The Ezreal was able to easily get out of a situation. Yuumi, not necessarily as much of a roaming support as like your Nautilus, your Bard, for example, but put alongside a Rammus jungle, you are looking for Yuumi to look for plays in the mid lane, hopefully, and maybe assisting in that top lane.
So, I mean, looking at the bans so far on the side of red, they've definitely gone for that target topside ban. So we saw something similar in the series yesterday where they pretty much threw 5 bans at top lane, which kind of says, hey, we know who your main carry is here. We're going to target them down hard. Potentially that means let's get in that bot pick. Let's get in a support from the side of Royalty that lets us kind of play towards topside, ditch bottom. So I like the fact that we have a Ezreal pickup from the side of blue in this case. They basically said, you guys can't have Ezreal because this is the champion that players like to pair up with that roaming playstyle champion bot lane support. So in this case, no, Ezreal is ours. We're taking Yuumi with it as well, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a misplay. You can kind of see what they want to go for here in that the Yuumi paired up with the top lane carry means that they have like the pseudo like mega top laner. But I mean, now you kind of putting your support on a champion that's not going to be able to match that top lane room from the bot. So far, a bit of a mixed emotion draft so far from the side of 5 Lonely Men, but let's see what they rounded on in terms of that top lane pick.
I'd love to see, we're still seeing more target bans. Garen and Fiora pulled out. Royalty basically saying, listen, we know your comfort picks. We're going to try throw something at you that you're not as comfortable on in the hopes of shutting down that top lane. I think Royalty probably feel pretty comfortable on the rest of the map. I think they definitely have the more skilled players we see. I think it's probably going to be that Ziggs ADC again, perhaps. That's been a popular one through the series. I could be wrong.
Option. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of Ziggs actually, which is kind of surprising. Not too sure if that's like the flavor of the month or what the story is there. But in this case, Ezreal taken away. So, hey, let's grab a longer range mage for the bot lane instead, saying, like, we're going to just put this guy on something that he can play super far back on, can farm up. In this case, we see the Malzahar pick as well, which tells us it's definitely going to be that Ziggs bot lane from the side of Royalty. As for the rest, for the final picks coming through from 5 Lonely Men, the Kassadin, a bit of an interesting one, but here's that final pick that we are kind of looking forward to seeing. See, as like we mentioned before, 5 top lane bans taken out, which means these pools kind of chucked out like a fair amount, as we didn't really see much coming through from that Fizz pick yesterday when they did swap him into the mid side. So hopefully he's got a little bit more under his sleeve that we haven't really seen just yet. So fingers crossed, let's see what we get.
Maybe we get a Kennen? Oh my goodness, okay.
Is that the
Mundo
champion?
does what he wants.
Is that the champion that he wants to carry?
Perhaps. I mean, Mundo does what he wants, and Mundo is in a pretty strong position right now. I think I'm a little bit confused about the early Rammus pick specifically because Five Lonely Men didn't see how, like, for example, AD heavy Royalty would be. I think it is a comfort pick for their jungler, though. It is something we have seen quite a bit.
Okay, so we've
Right,
had a
so
chance to see that. Sheepy, what do we think about that?
Right, so the comps are done and dusted. We have the lock-in for the first game. Keep in mind, this is a best of 5, so this is very much that first game of the day. Experience, players are warming up, everyone's just taking a nap. Hopefully they've got that warm-in ARAM or maybe a TFT or something just to get the fingers flowing and the blood moving so we don't see too many skill shots being missed. But overall, comp-wise, I think I agree with Androva in that Rammus pick was a little bit of an interesting early pick, as we do know that is part of their kind of comp slash like champion pool for the jungle pick, but overall I think I'm definitely favoring red side Royalty for this first game.
And Androva, obviously, I mean, Royalty's had a little bit of a roster shakeup. Five Lonely Men, we know of them, but do you think it's a little bit difficult without so many League of Legends competitions to kind of get a feel for what the team's going to do? I mean, there's not a lot of research out there on either of them, so maybe that also kind of decides how you go into this first game?
Yeah, and I think especially teams seem to go into kind of like a limbo once the main season has ended with regards to VS Gaming and the championship series through there. And like with research, as you say, not much out there except for like maybe your occasional op.gg to see what people are doing in solo queue, etc. But I think also with so few competitions, it's difficult to see what kind of like the local meta is. You know, once we look at larger international competitions, Worlds, NALCS, LEC, etc., teams are playing throughout the year, they're scrimming throughout the year, and it gives them a chance to like form a kind of a meta where people know, okay, cool, this is what we want to pick, this is what we want to ban. Whereas locally, people are thinking more of their comfort picks. They're saying, okay, I know that this guy is like a one trick on this particular champ, or that they're really strong at it. We're kind of going to just cancel that out. We're going to target the strongest player, and we're going to do what we can with the rest of the map.
If you are watching, it's time to get behind the team, even if you know nothing about South African League of Legends. I think we've given you enough now. I'd love to hear your thoughts in chat. Tell us who you're going to be shouting for, who you're supporting, and who you want to see win. Sheepy, I mean, are we expecting this? And this is always a tough question. I hate doing this to casters, but I'm going to do it to you. Sorry, mate. It's the last broadcast I can. Do you think it's going to be a 3-0 to Royalty, or do you think the Five Lonely Men might be able to pull a game up?
Okay, so I mean, we always want the series to be extended. I really, really dislike casting those clean 2-for-0s in a best of 3, or the 3-for-0s in a best of 5. Honestly, majority of the SA like league finals that we have casted have really gone to that 5th game. In this case, though, I'm kind of shaky. I don't know what to expect from this side of Five Lonely Men. I mean, they have that super international top lane, but like I feel like everyone's kind of seen what he's got up his sleeves at this point, because he's played a fair amount of games up to this point. He was kind of like that guy that's come out of nowhere. Nobody knows his champion pool. Now we've seen at least 5 or 6 of his games. We know kind of what to expect. So he's being forced on a less comfortable picks, such as I think this Mundo. I mean, you really can't 1v5 as a Mundo. So I mean, honestly, unless it kind of changes for the next draft, I feel like this may actually just be that quick 3-for-0.
I mean, I worry about relying heavily on one player. I mean, it doesn't matter the game. That's always a little bit of a concern for me. It is a team. You've got to work as a team. Maybe they've got something up their sleeves, though. Maybe they're banking on Royalty, picking on him, and then hopefully that will mean that they can pull out whatever magic they have in their hat. We'll have to wait. We'll have to find out. We'll have to see all of that stuff, which means we should probably do that right now and go into game, I think. Yes, let's do that.
Okay, so I mean, just looking at the players individually, so a lot of new names on the side of Royalty. So for those guys that aren't part of the SA scene, you should already know the players. But again, I mentioned how ATK have a couple of players played into this roster as well through the support in this case, as well as Kiddo, I believe, used to be part of ATK, so not quite officially one of their members anymore, but not much a Royalty side player. So just looking at the names of the players, we can quickly run through who they originally are, as they like to have some fun with the account name changes, which we saw, I think, a day ago or so. So support Bard will be unique. Ziggs, in this case, is Vanzel. Mid lane, we do have I believe, Mr. Knott, Jungle Kiddo, international quote-unquote ex-coach. Don't know if he's going to be part of this as the main roster in the future events or not. And Mr. Top Lane Jetlast himself. So, Androva, I mean, what are your thoughts with regards to the overall comps? I don't think we really touched on, I guess, like the caster's curse for this first game.
No, we haven't actually. I mean, I think Sam maybe touched on that, asking you who you think the series favors, but um, I'm not 100% sure. I think draft definitely probably fails. Oh my gosh, favors Royalty Esports. They've just gone for a more team comp. Certainly not so much relying on individual players as we're seeing with Five Lonely Men in the top lane. With that, the international top lane maybe able to like shake up the map. Hopefully, we don't have too much of a topside focused kind of a game, because that'll be a little bit boring to watch maybe. But I'd like to see the rest of Five Lonely Men put up a fight, especially the bot lane, which we saw trying really hard to do something. I think it was yesterday, when we were casting that semifinals game. We saw the bot pulling out some real good stunts, doing a good job of contesting. And yeah, I sounded so intelligent. Sorry, guys, that was a lot of ums.
Right, it happens to the best of us. I'm sure we'll get the casting curse, or the warm-up going a bit, just like when you're playing a first game of the day. Casting is exactly the same. You've got to get into, I guess, you just got to get used to it again, got to get warmed up. It will come again with a little bit of time. So speaking of time, Serenity playing a bit of a dangerous game here. A detached Yuumi, never in a good spot, and we saw Serenity getting caught off multiple times yesterday in the series that we did manage to see. So here we go, cheeky invade from the side of Royalty, it seems.
I've been waiting to see First Blood at level 1. I think I'm going to be disappointed today. But Five Lonely Men not doing anything about wards on that red buff either. Kind of just leaving bot lane to babysit for a little bit, but the late invader is always a potential. So they're not going to have that knowledge until Rammus probably tries to pass bot and realizes his entire bot side is missing.
Right, so
Although
I'm kind of hoping they saw... I'm kind of hoping at least we have that awareness from the side of Five Lonely Men, as, I mean, they did come through the tri-brush which says, hey, we kind of came through your bot side jungle, which means that most likely we did invade early, so Rammus should path into the top side to make sure we have that equal out. At the same time, mid lane, we can see it's actually going to be their international playing Cassidy, but if a more 1v5 champion, and the Flash will flash mid lane, but hang on, it's going to be Darkside for the attempt, as we may have the first blood. Not going to be able to get there, just making sure his friend is alive, walking that off. I was about to say, you need to be careful if it is an invade in the bot side jungle, because Lee Sin wants to spam ganks. There is a hit issued onto the international now mid laner. So he's going to be sat pretty hard, and we saw Lee Sin yesterday just doing so much work for the side of Royalty.
Oh my goodness, we missed it.
First blood top lane, apparently.
Lane. Oh my word.
Sandical. So, I mean, even yesterday we saw how it was actually the Rammus played by Sandical in this case, instead of putting him top lane saying, hey, just take Mundo. Mundo does what he pleases, and in this case, apparently Aatrox is exactly what pleases him.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to this matchup, Aatrox doesn't really turn on until, probably about level 3-4, just lacking a little bit in that early level damage. And Mundo just a super tank from the start, and packing a decent amount of CC, with, I guess not hard CC, but the slow in his cleaver is definitely like a lot to deal with. And those Aatrox knockups are just negated by the fact that Mundo still has his passive and it regens pretty quickly. He's able to pick up those pots that and reinstate it, but...
Bot side, dark side, but a trouble may just go down for the first blood for Royalty side as he does. It's going to be mid lane. Zig's able to find himself that first kill, so 1-1. We had that first blood from top side. Bit of an interesting one, honestly, because I feel like Aatrox is not exactly a champion you should be losing the early stages in, as he definitely wants to snowball versus the likes of that Mundo, who's going to get incredibly tanky and pretty much unkillable, especially with this Royalty comp. I just do not think they have the damage to deal with the Mundo unless we have that Lee Sin pop off in the early stages.
Yeah, and I mean, Lee Sin doing pretty well, getting his way around the jungle, getting his way around the map, assisting with that kill in the bot side. Great that it goes over to the Ziggs though, because I think that is something that Royalty wants to look at, is getting some strength on that Ziggs, because later on in game, that's probably going to be one of their largest damage dealers.
Right, so I mean, look at the players' champion picks so far. In terms of the team comp, I get what Royalty is going for. They want to have that early game aggression through the form of that Lee Sin, just try chain ganks after gank, and already we can see that topside roam that we mentioned in Champ Select. So the Ziggs being able to basically stay far back. He's been given blue buffs so that he has the mana to maintain it. As we have the mid side attempt, not a good spot. Flash was burnt before, so this should be the first kill onto mid lane Cassidy, and it is Royalty knows their win condition. It's shutting down PP, so that's exactly what they're gonna do thanks to the help of a cheeky border.
Yeah, and I think Royalty definitely want to wrap up this game as soon as possible, looking at extreme scaling champs on the side of 5 Lonely Men, with the Mundo, with the Cassidy more especially so, you know, trying to make sure he doesn't hit that level 16 spike. And a Cassidy, unfortunately, before level 6 is very immobile once that flash is down, so Royalty taking a huge advantage there in the mid lane, shutting him down while they still have the chance.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Cassidy pre-6 as well as Malzahar pre-6. This mid lane gets a little bit more interesting in a minute or so when they do manage to get the ultimates unlocked. There's the first one. And, like, I mean, it's kind of predictable in terms of playstyle, what they expect out of Royalty. It just comes to, has 5 Lonely Men communicated, hey, this is obviously what they're trying to do, look at their comp, like, it cannot be more telegraphed than this. So mid lane, Cassidy, either the team needs to basically communicate better, or just make sure to take the time, take the effort to get those vision wards down, prevent those ganks from working out, as we do have a potential dive coming through from the top side now. Senecal a little bit low, sitting on that Mundo health in the form of his ultimate, but I mean, I've got faith in this Kiddo attempt, still pre-6 though.
Yeah. Let's see if this dive happens. It should be a pretty clean one.
Disengage flash
done.
boss side, looking to pull the trigger.
Easy kill in the bot lane. Super well juggling that aggro. Yumi going down.
Ignite not going to be enough as red side TP looking to try join. It's going to be Malzahar here, plus the reposition. Dark side not able to get that last little bit of damage, and we should have the lock in place. The silence is there, and Dark side with a bit of an overcommit. Nice reaction. The communication definitely there for the first game for Royalty.
Yeah, and I think this is exactly how Royalty need to be playing out this game. You know, they're doing really well, moving around the map really well as a team. You know, 5 Lonely Men not quite online with that yet. Love to see that happen more once this Cassidy hits level 6. So definitely a lot more mobile, able to get to either top or bot really quickly. Hopefully moving topside to try and strengthen that Mundo and assist in shutting that Aatrox down or keeping him behind.
Yeah,
we got our first Drake up as well, I think.
Like you mentioned, yeah. Map play is very much the name of the game for Royalty. That's what their comp is looking to try to do. Get that early game scale, or sorry, that early game snowball into quick closeout before they do get outscaled. As Cassidy and Mundo, we're gonna become pretty much late game raid bosses versus the likes of this Royalty. So you really need to see this pace maintained from Lee Sin. Just keep making sure that those ganks are successful, as if you do fall behind here, you're gonna have a really tough time. And you know what they say about tough times, they just don't last.
I love that one.
Right, so...
what do you think we need to see? Oh, sorry, Sheepii, please go on.
No, go for it. What's the question?
Oh, okay, no, I wanted to know, what do you think we need to see from 5 Lonely Men to prevent the Ziggs and Lee Sin from getting any stronger than they are right now? We're heading into mid-game, Herald's on the table. Pretty soon, in about 12-15 minutes, we're going to see Baron on the table. Where do you think the game's going to be then?
Right, so, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit before. You can already just look at the map. You can see Bot basically hovering around middle, getting that vision down. Lisa, on the other hand, is finishing his camp before he potentially looks to try and match. Yumi, on the other hand, not a champion that can really answer the Bot, which is why I said I did not like that early Yumi pickup. Like, they just don't have the tools and the kit to allow it to potentially just roam around and catch off this Bot. Speaking of catching him off, it looks like he's able to get out of this one. That cheeky gate through the wall there says, no, I'm fine, I'm Bot, I'm mobile, and you shall not catch me out like that, Yumi.
Is there such a thing as trying to catch out a bot? I feel like they always keep their portals for the last minute.
So, I mean, we can already see now Riftail, the play for the side of Royalty. They're looking to try snowball the game pre-14 minutes. Plates are up, so this is definitely a very good play from the side of Royalty to maintain that pace. The issue now is, does 5 Lonely Men manage to contest this? Do they concede it? If they do concede it, is this going to be the topside dive? And will Darkside have the read to potentially counter that attempt at top? Ezreal for the steal, not going to find it.
Coming in, but too slow on the rotation, unfortunately. Rammus being gatekept from leaving his jungle. He
Oh.
was sitting on a ward, so... Oh,
You can see the urgency coming through. The middle TP now burnt from Ziggs, looking to group up for this potential Siege 3. They have the Ziggs, they have the Satchel, they want that first turret, and again, you can kind of see just how much they know their win condition of this game, which is closing it out as quick as possible. They bring the heat, and 5 lonely men, being a team of players that don't really normally play competitive together that much, may not just have the same level of macro, like knowledge and I guess communication as we can see from Royalty so far.
yeah, Royalty definitely losing in these small moments, you know, where... 5 lonely men, sorry, definitely losing in these small moments where you can see Royalty, as you say, know what their win condition is. They have the better experience, you know, able to, I guess, the word I'm looking for
Upside.
is gone.
Cynical, but low
change the
chunk
map.
down. Does he drop? Oh. Opting to leave a Jetlass, playing that a little bit safe perhaps. Cynical able to survive thanks to that shaky little bit of a heal that we do have coming through. And I mean, honestly, that may have been a win or an opportunity for Aatrox to take over this matchup. It was an incredibly low HP Mundo as bot side blue TP, maybe not a good idea. Ziggs also unfortunately not going to find anybody, so the jump does come through, locked in place, but here comes Rammus to cancel the CC as he is pretty healthy, still not looking too good for the side of 5 lonely men. Actually make that Royalty, make that 5 lonely men as the kill on the mid lane is there again. Pete a little bit late, but it's actually going to be the support able to find that shutdown, so 2 kill shutdown onto Yuumi, not ideal. Perfect situation would be Kassadin being able to pick up as much gold as possible for 5 lonely men, but honestly not the worst of results for either side.
Definitely not. You gotta commend 5 lonely men for making something happen there as opposed to just sitting back and watching what happens in the rest of this game. They do need to be proactive if they want to be able to turn this game into their favor, because Royalty definitely know what they want and they're willing to do anything to get it.
I think the real question though is where are the Arcane picks? We've had this new anime coming out to Arcane. I'm sure everyone's watched it, but we just don't see those Arcane, like those pickups. Where's the Vi? Where's the Caitlyn? Where's the Jinx? I mean, who was your favorite character from League and Arcane?
It's definitely Echo. I'm like an Echo stan.
Fair enough.
Through and through. I was thinking through Champ Select though that both Jinx and Caitlyn were left through in the ban phases, and 5 lonely men did show an early Ezreal. Might have been an opportunity for Royalty to lock in the Kate, but I think the Ziggs just doing too well for them.
I mean, honestly, like the Caitlyn's actually pretty decent as well as Jinx. Like these picks aren't necessarily bad. It's just it does not seem like the picks for this game in particular. As I mean, like we said before, you want that long distance bot lane AD carry that can basically allow for the roaming playstyle. So maybe fingers crossed we get some form of Arcane pick in one of the future games of the series, whether it's the second, third, or if we even have a 4th game. Only time will tell as mid attempt at Darkside's camps. The Raptors are not going to be stolen away in this case, but you can already just see that the tempo that Royalty are bringing. They look at a walk in, create vision, drop wards, and take objectives, and that's going to be the Ocean Drink.
Yeah, I think 5 lonely men's tempo is just a little bit slow today. You can see from just the way they're able to walk into the jungle, take what they want. And 5, we got a kill in the bottom lane.
Miscommunication we had the lockdown, but the chain CC not there, just not able to find that connection, as we had clearly the caster's curse in the production saying Royalty victory for this first game. I might actually be behind them because they're looking kinda solid so far for this first game, just maintaining that tempo.
Definitely, and 5 lonely men just seem a little unsure about what they'd like to do in these stages of the game. I mean, you saw that Drake went over uncontested, same thing with the Rift Herald, a kill into top lane, the
Again,
flash,
top lane,
Aatrox letting it go.
surviving so close twice in a row. I mean, I can definitely see that first game jitters. We've had misplays left, right, and center from both sides, Royalty in particular, whether it's skill shots or just not being able to finish off those last hits. We can hopefully see a little bit cleaner gameplay which we kind of expect out of especially these players in terms of the Royalty side. These are some of SA's top players, majority being at least Diamond, Elo, or MMR in the past, if not at the moment. So, I mean, we kind of want to see some clean League of Legends, not what we've seen so far.
Not yet, and I'm quite surprised because Aatrox did have his flash up in that top lane fight. I think maybe just rather saying, you know what, I know I can win this matchup at this stage. This has happened twice before. I'm gonna save the flash for another time. You know, Aatrox not particularly behind. The two are on par for farm. So maybe no need to overextend or greed for these kills at this point just yet.
Okay, game done by no means, 2-5. Gold lead slightly favoring Royalty, but keep in mind the later the game goes, the more in favor is going to become 4-5 Lonely Men. Royalty know they're playing on a timer, they're playing that ticking game, and they got to keep that tempo up. Riftchild, number 2, spawning shortly, so we should see some form of rotation up. At the same time, Cassidy now playing side lane, doing his best basically just to try catch waves, get as much gold as he can, work towards that 3-item power spike. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind Malzahar was the go-to pick for Royalty. They know what their job in this game is, lock down PP. In this case, I hate to say his name, but I have to. And, I mean, top side, bit of a breakout fight as red side. Yeah, we spoke about Malzahar looking for that pick, may just find the Mundo, but I don't think Senegal's the player to play for in this case, as he's kind of tanky and he goes where he pleases. Meanwhile, bot side apparently, Ziggs and Cassidy actually trading 1-for-1 as both members now down. Make that the double for Royalty. Again, Aleeson, Gold Drinker completed. Dark side, is this where you want to be? Mundo is here, but so is middle lane from the side of Royalty as the fight does break out. Again, pretty tanky, but now the damage should be there. The last order, it will be kill number 3 now, 4-for-1 Leeson. Royalty maintaining that tempo.
Royalty just taking advantage of that TP that, oh no, it was their TP that showed in the top lane, but taking advantage of that brawl and saying, listen, we know we have more members down here, let's fight while we still can and while we have the upper hand. Great that 5 lonely men able to take down 1 with them, but they're going to need a lot more.
What did I say about Serenity getting picked off? It's a repeat of the series before. Serenity in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're playing Yuumi. Yuumi cannot go where he pleases. He is not Mundo. You must be like safe. That bot side jungle belongs to Royalty. You can see that vision line now set up. So just don't go there. Just stay in the vision. As again, Ezreal just not finding that success at that Riftchild steal. I'm assuming that this Riftchild now going to be used for either breaking top tier 2 or mid tier 2. We'll see what Aleeson does with it though, but I mean, look at the gold difference now, 7k within 16 minutes.
Honestly, Royalty just showing such a dominant performance. It's not dominant like we've seen in other games, you know, where it's been just one champ absolutely rolling over the map. But it's an entire team performance we're seeing here, where Royalty are managing to group together and take advantage of these small mistakes that 5 lonely men are making. And also just taking advantage of the fact that they do macro this game better and using that experience to their best ability.
Right, so 5 lonely men's win condition for this game is basically catching waves and pretty much trying to nullify anything Royalty does. How do you do that? You see it coming? How do you see them coming? With vision. So vision, effectively the name of the game in this case rather. So you can already see Darkside doing the best he can to try to walk in with Yuumi's assistance. They are scary players in the bot side jungle, so always take a friend. The buddy system is there for a reason to clear those wards. In this case, however, again, Bard, the buddy system now used by Royalty for the lockdown, not in a good spot. That's going to be the chance CC, so finally able to find that synergy as the silence won't be there. The stopwatch on the other hand, Jack King is here for the assistance. Does he get out? The Ziggs ultimate finds nobody, but the silence will hallow. Goodbye, you're out of here. As that tempered Fate Bard looking for the chain lock, he does get it, but do they have the damage? They do. On the back of that, Leeson exhaust now drop as the aggro dropped as well. And it's going to be actually the new focus for the mid lane Malzahar, perhaps mid lane trade. No, Gate has other plans, and that's going to be Bard getting an exit stage right, but Aatrox on the other hand looking to try to re-engage with the side of Royalty, finding a lot of damage, but no success in the kills just yet as Darkside able to hop away. Leeson now on the back, kind of choked in this tier 2 tyrants. Shelly able to take out a tower, which means Royalty can't go. They look for the fight as Serenity, the third member to drop, but the triple will not be secured as Bard is finding that last kill.
And that was the ace. And goodness, the way that Royalty moved that map, I think originally they only had 2 players down in that bot lane. It was the Aatrox and the Malzahar, and immediately as that little scuffle broke out, the rest of the team were like, cool, let's get in on this, you know? And now an easy Drake for them, working towards that Chemtech Soul, which I believe is quite strong these days and got buffed on Wednesday as well.
Like, we're already seeing just, I guess, the difference in skill expression. So, this is the issue that I saw with 5 lonely men. They got away with it versus Instinct, as they are playing with a slightly weaker roster than usual, not having their own international play. So, individually, majority of the Royalty side are on very much comfort roles. These players have played these roles in the past a lot. As for the side of 5 lonely men, they've got a couple of mismatches here and there, but at the same time, it's just they depend on one player in particular popping off. They've put that player on Cassidy, which is not a Darius, which is not that Fiora, it's not a Jax, it's not a champion that can really get those solo kills in the early stages. So we're having a situation where Royalty are able to basically close out the game, pick up momentum, and basically just not let Cassidy come online, and he really can't do much about it. If anything, 5 Lonely Men needed to try play themselves around that mid lane Cassidy, see if they can get him some free, like, consolation prize, like reverse, like gangs catching off a potential roam from the support, but we're just not seeing that communication. We're not seeing that team play that we really need out of 5 Lonely Men for them to take this first game.
Yeah, and I would have loved to, like, hear... Oh, Seneca in a bit of trouble. Woolly Fall walks out because Mundo does what he wants. Royalty, 5 Lonely Men actually trying to go for the engage and thinking better about it. Baron is on the cards. Will we see 5 Lonely Men trying to make a stand for this? Royalty probably definitely looking to draw them out with the fight.
Ideal situation here would be that 5 Lonely Men basically walk in, pressure the contest, don't contest itself, just get Royalty off the Nasher. You can see Cassidy now split pushing bottom, has TP, can look to join this fight, but ideal situation would be have Cassidy in that side lane catching solo experience and farm for as long as they can. On the other hand, we do have the bounty kicking in as they manage to get a pick onto bot, but bot again, slippery character, gets out quite easily, but it's actually just complete bamboozle as the entire time it's just been Royalty looking to try to play that pressure up, further away from the Nasher to get to that objective. Not like this, the TP ward onto the backline. What are you doing? Man down, 5 Lonely Men now. Nasher stolen or taken, secured. Man down means that those gates are going to be open and Royalty are looking to close this game out in time.
Yeah, I think on that point that you made, where 5 Lonely Men are wanting to just attempt to disengage Royalty from that Baron, I feel like the only way they would be able to do it in this case is with a lot of poke damage, and that is something that they're lacking almost entirely. Only Israel is able to do there, and he cannot walk into that pit, not anywhere close, because there will be how many people waiting for him? You know, the Bard stun, the Zig Satchel, the Malzahar ult. It's not a safe place.
This type of comp from Royalty really does well into teams that aren't that, like, comfortable playing with each other. Like, it's not a hard team to basically beat in the sense that if you just don't die, if you do nothing besides just stand there and look at them kind of thing, just maintain farm, it does favor you towards the late stages, but it's on Royalty to maintain that pace, which they've done very well, and in this case they've managed to pick off 2 again, plus to crack the gate, so Nasher in hand. And the game about to finish, actually, if they manage to get these kills. So Sia in the front line, not going to drop it yet, but Castle looking to pull trigger, but that's 5, that's the entirety of Royalty. You have no kills, you're a 1-kill Castle, you do not get a pull trigger like that. And that right there should be the first game in just a second if they're doing the best they can to try to slow down, but Nash and Aunt's minions have other plans, so Royalty are looking strong.
You know what, Lonely Men tried their best, but unfortunately this game was potentially lost in the draft. I think maybe focusing more on the Rammus and the Yuumi pick, a bit of some interesting blind picks, but that will be game 1.
GG, well played. Back to the draft.
There you have it. Royalty takes the first game, which Sheepii, you called it, so good for you. Hold on to that, because sometimes casters get it wrong. Do you think that potentially that early aggressive pace from Royalty, Sheepii, in my opinion, that was what kind of ultimately won them the game, because 5 Lonely Men had no answer for it early on?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, again, it came down to knowing what your comp does well. And in this case, from the side of Royalty, that's like snowball the game, close it out in record time. And 5 Lonely Men just need to try to slow the game down. They just did not get that opportunity, unfortunately, as we can see why Royalty is one of, if not the top team currently from what we've seen them play. So, I mean, again, it basically comes down to that loading screen time, like communicating with the team, saying, hey guys, what is our win condition? How do we play towards it? And in this case, there just was not that team communication.
How do they slow it down now? Because I know that Royalty is going to come out possibly in game 2 with a very similar aggression. How does 5 Lonely Men slow it down, Sheepii?
So basically, what's happened so far is we've had the games that they have won in the past. They've had their top lane international now playing mid, kind of just dumpstering, playing something that can play a bit more aggressive, getting those kills. Early stages was then snowballs into the super lead that just cannot be matched. In this case, they put him onto a character which needs more time to come online. They weren't given that time as Royalty knows that they can't give them that opportunity. So I think reapproach it, maybe not putting him mid lane. Obviously, again, top lane champ pools have been thinned out pretty hard, nicely done by Royalty in the form of those bans. But we've seen him twice now dropping games playing mid. First it was the Fizz in a previous series, now it's Cassidy playing playing it mid lane, and I just don't think this is working for them. So they need to reapproach, maybe redraft, try turn the game on its head, maybe pull out something that Royalty hasn't seen yet, because so far it's been very telegraphed.
Androva, I thought towards the end there as well, Five Lonely Men just seems to be lacking synergy as a team, almost a little bit of a lack of communication. Also, maybe just potentially, new facing those challenges. I know it gets stressful in these games. Do you think that that's something they might have to work on coming into game number two?
Yeah, I think definitely they're already looking at a bit of a deficit without having their star player, I guess, on his comfort picks. But I think definitely just a bit of loss of communication synergy, and then on top of it, they're going and throwing, role swaps between their mid and top lane. Yeah, I think they're just adding a few too many complications to their win condition and just making it maybe a little bit too easy for Royalty to come and over.
Do you think that the draft will change up quite a bit on both sides as we move into game number two, Androva?
From Royalty side, probably not, depending on the bands that we see, but I think they just naturally have a very aggressive play style. I'm hoping that Five Lonely Men maybe play the draft phase a little bit smarter, waiting for picks instead of first picking comfort, and, things like the Yumi ban that Sheepy mentioned was a little bit of a questionable pick as early as it was. But I'm hoping that they can sit back, try see the way that Royalty has played and how aggressively they've played, and maybe draft a little bit smarter this time around.
You are watching the Incredible Connection All-Star Gaming All-Star Underground League of Legends Grand Finals. Try say that 7 times fast and see how you do. 30,000 Rand up for grabs. It is Royalty Esports facing off against Five Lonely Men. Best of 5. Royalty has taken the first game. You also know how we do it here on the IC All-Star Gaming channel. We got so many rad giveaways. We've already started and I have more. I'm just waiting for the big bosses to give me the notification that I can give away something else, because I'm ready. I've got a Logitech G voucher up for grabs, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. We do have, like I said, a best of 5. We'll be taking a quick break very soon so that the players can have a chance to chat a little bit. But before we go to the break, I can, in fact, tell you that there is going to be a giveaway in the chat during the break. So let me make sure that I get this right, because I always get it wrong. If you want to win a Logitech G voucher, make sure you use the command !legend, or is it legends? I'm going to double check that. There we go. It's legend. I got to look down at my handwritten notes. Oh, look, now there's a ticker, so I didn't have to look down. !legends in the chat, and you will go straight into the draw to win one of those vouchers, and I will announce the winner right after this.
Head down in the water. No fear is the feel of my lungs. No light in the tunnel. I'm fighting for my life and I'm giving up to chaos. Even though I'm surrounded, I still feel alone. But my shadow keeps me company. 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices telling me I ain't good enough. And everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices telling me I'm not good enough. 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices. 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing faces. And everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices telling me I'm not good enough. I'm seeing faces, I'm hearing voices telling me I ain't good enough. And everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces, I'm hearing voices telling me I'm not good enough. 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices. 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm seeing faces. I'm hearing voices.
Welcome back to the All-Star Gaming channel for the All-Star Underground Grand Finals for League of Legends. We had a giveaway before the break. All you needed to do was write a command in chat. It was super easy, and you get yourself a 1,000 Rand Logitech G gift voucher. I can now confirm the winner. Congratulations. Your name is on the screen right now. Luna Lavender, you just got yourself a voucher. If you're wondering how this works, now that you've won, one of the mods from the Incredible Connection channel will slide on into your DMs. It will say Incredible Connection, or it will say I see All-Star Gaming. So don't trust some of the other people that might slide into your DMs, but they will slide in and make sure that they can get all the information to you. And don't forget, today is the final All-Star Gaming Underground competition, which means at the end of the stream, we're going to be giving away an incredible gaming PC to the value of 25,000 Rand. So if you want to win that during the course of all these games, the mods will put some information in the chat and you'll be able to enter there. I think all you have to do is follow the IC All-Star Gaming Twitch channel, which I do. So I'm hoping that means I'm in the draw, just saying. Imagine if I got to announce myself winning that computer. That would be chaos. Obviously, I can't win, so we're just putting that out there. I'm now just babbling on, which is annoying you. We've done the first game, 30,000 Rand up for grabs. It is a best of 5. We're now going to hand over to the real pros on this broadcast. Androva and Sheepii are going to take us through the draft.
Okay, pick and ban phase. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Right. Androva, hit us with a prediction. What are we seeing in terms of the bans? Like anything new, anything spicy, or is this going to be like the cookie cutter, same as before? Why change it?
Lee Sin, perfect ban. I'm kind of hoping we see a Ziggs ban there as well, but I'm 100% sure we're still going to see all those topside focus bans, because I don't think 5 Lonely Men gave Royalty much of a reason to ban anything that was in that previous game. No shade, unfortunately, Royalty just knew how to play it a bit better. The Rumble ban though, I think we did see a Rumble mid yesterday.
Yeah, Rumble mid is very much a pick that we've seen from Royalty's mid laner. He likes playing that Rumble mid. It has a lot of dominance when it comes to that like wombo combo paired up with like a Jarvan. Suddenly you're locked in and you're burning alive. So not a fun one. In this case, enough of a reason to get that out of you. I like the Lee Sin ban, like you mentioned. I felt like that Lee Sin has done a lot of work over that last game as well as the series before. But Ziggs back at it again. He's the first pick, the priority, and this time it's gonna be instead of the Ezreal first pick, but the Ziggs for 5 Lonely Men.
I'm interested in 5 Lonely Men's drafting because they seem to keep prioritizing these bot lane picks when they know that their top laner is the one they want to be focusing on, especially since last game we got through the second phase of pick and ban and they still had not locked in any of their top laners like comfort picks. And it's always this blind bot lane, which is very interesting because we haven't seen much from them lately. I think that is probably going to be a Lux Varus bot into a Rakan Ziggs, both pretty aggressively poking lanes. So let's see who wins at this time.
Right, so Lux locked in. I mean, it could always be a Lux support. We don't 100% know. My thoughts would be perhaps Lux mid instead, but time will tell. So nice first draft flex coming through as for the Nocturne. Nocturne, pretty spicy this preseason with the new item changes and whatnot. So, I mean, I've got big expectations for that Nocturne pick, but again, Nocturne, not exactly the safest of first picks. So let's see what they get for the counter.
I'm super excited to see. They've already shown, oh, okay, a Galio, but 5 Lonely Men have already shown 2 squishy champs, you know, that's kind of free real estate for Nocturne, and that these preseason changes we've been speaking about, Axiom Arc, the new item, refunding 20 or 25% of your ultimate cooldown, which is exactly what Nock wants because he needs that map presence, that global presence, and a Kennen ban over to, well, for Royalty on the side of 5 Lonely Men. And once again, do we think that Galio is going mid or top?
It could always be support, but very unlikely seeing as we do have the Rakan. I mean, mid lane Rakan is something we have seen as a pick for, again, a mid lane not, but I would be very, very surprised if we see that. So my guess would be Galio mid. But I think the real complaint that I still have is that just no arcane characters. Where's the Jinx? Where's the Caitlyn? Give us some spice.
Yeah, maybe we get
Even
a
an
Vi
Echo.
jungle on the side of 5 Lonely Men. Twisted Fate, okay. All mid lane
Right,
focus
so-
bans.
final ban coming through.
First
It will
of
be
many
the Garen.
foes.
So just looking at the champion pool, they have again targeted towards that top side. No surprise there. I mean, he has not had very much success playing mid so far, so that was not the approach that was needed from the side of 5 Lonely Men. In that case, again, depending on mid lane and Kassadin, no success with the Fizz, no success with the Kassadin, a lot more success with the likes of his Fiora and Jax, even the Trinimir. So I'm kind of, oh, it's the Timo jungle back at it
Timo
again.
jungle.
Right, so
South
for
African
those of you
meta
guys that
strikes
missed
once
it,
again.
yesterday we had a Timo locked in 2 of the games when it was versus Instinct not B5, sorry, the 5 Lonely Men team, basically just locking it in, giving us a bit of a surprise. We thought it was a hover, they then actually did lock it in, they put a jungle, and honestly, it popped off hard, and we saw it carrying. So, I mean, they've doubled down on it. When in doubt, lock in Timo.
And I'm totally here for the Timo pick into the likes of auto attackers such as Varus and Nocturne, you know, negating that damage for a little bit and potentially long enough to shut them down. Mundo on the side of Royalty this time, though, and I wonder what we're going to see top. What did they
So,
group with the Timo again?
It was a
think
Timo
it was
slash Jax, or was it
Jax?
Trinimir? Jax? I think it was
It was
Jax. or
Trinda
something like
and
that. They were popping
Jax.
off. Right, so my main concern here with regards to the comp is that we have pretty much 4 AP drafts coming through from the side of 5 Lonely Men. That's hence why that Mundo pick. Mundo likes tanky AP.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, we've taken a look at this, and then I mean, Sheepii, you've mentioned it there, but I think draft-wise, Royalty looks strong once again. What do you think the game plan was with 5 Lonely Men there?
That's a good question, honestly. I think 5 Lonely Men perhaps not really having that much of a game plan. They're kind of just rocking it, hence the Timo pick. That is not something you generally would ever see in competitive. So they've very much gone back to that stock standard comfort. I've always said in SA scene especially, play what you can play. Don't play what the pros are playing. Like, we are not pros in that sense. Sure, we have some high elo players, but you definitely want to go for just that comfort pick. Play stuff that you've been practicing in solo queue. Don't force the comp, as that often results in just poor performance overall. So in this case, I'm kind of liking Royalty's comp in terms of they have that tanky Mundo for the top side, which is able to basically soak majority of 5 Lonely Men's comp. Like, they realistically will not see that Mundo late game, so almost a bit of a reverse in the sense that it's actually going to be Royalty wanting to get towards that late game instead.
So, I mean, I want to pick up something that you said there, because I saw it in chat earlier on, and I always think it's an interesting question. I think I know the answer, but I mean, I'm not an expert, so I won't give it. But is it interesting that the South African, when we talk about these drafts and we see what everyone is picking overseas, you know, we're obviously watching this top tier League of Legends all the time, and then it's so different here, very different meta. I mean, why, Sheepii, why is that? Why are we not following those international trends?
So generally with the top teams, they tend to, like, your top 2 to 3 teams tend to play quite well with it when it comes to the international meta. So especially times when there are those big tournaments like Worlds, etc., a lot of our meta kind of trickles down. It's the same with solo queue, where it's kind of like a ladder in the sense that the top players play the best stuff, then it works its way down, and then 3-4 months the bottom guys are suddenly playing it. Hence why we have these really weird comps a lot of the time of like outdated picks and whatnot. So it's kind of like a slow trickle, and it's onto the players in keeping up with the meta. A lot of players prefer just to play comfort. Why invest the time into, I guess, learning new stuff? People by nature don't like change. So, I mean, keep to what's been working for you. And that generally does work when it comes to mid to low range SA League of Legends competitive. But top teams, especially a finals like this, you really need to know what you're doing.
You do need to know what you're doing. Androva, based on what you just saw, do you think Royalty knows what they're doing?
Oh, I think there shouldn't be a doubt in anybody's mind that Royalty know what they're doing. 5 Lonely Men maybe knowing a little bit better doing this round compared to last round, but time will tell in this case.
I'm hoping that this pick means that there's a little bit of a shake-up here, because obviously, I mean, Sheepii said this at the start, we don't want a 3-0 victory for a certain team, especially in a grand final. What we want to see is some really good competitive League of Legends. 30,000 Rand prize pool. We want to see a battle it out. But I do worry a little bit, and I wonder, I mean, what is the win condition here, Sheepii, for 5 Lonely Men in terms of what we've seen before? Is it a matter of controlling Royalty's pace? Is it a matter of maybe just having a little bit more team synergy, a little bit more communication? I mean, what would you say they need to do to take game number 2?
So, I mean, what's mostly been working for them up to this point is basically just having that topside international just absolutely dumpstering everybody, putting them in their places just through, I guess, raw mechanics and having that big of a gap on majority of the SA players. First, the likes of Royalty, again, I touched on how majority of these players are on comfort picks. They have been in the scene for a long time, so nobody's really uncomfortable in their positioning. So it's not as easy as some of the other teams that we've seen so far. Majority of the sides that they've versed have had these holes almost like a chink in the armor that they could take advantage of and basically allow for that top lane like domination. In this case, again, they forced out of that top lane playstyle, forcing him onto a mid pick, playing a champion that again needs time to come online, and having a team that's not really giving him that time to come online is a huge mistake. So they need to find a champion that's not currently being banned, something that hasn't been shown really, and putting him on a champion that can play early that scales into late as well. Easier said than done, obviously, and that's kind of why I thought this series could be a quick 3-0, because it's very much on can the side of 5 Lonely Men find that pick that they need and basically work towards that communication that gets them to that point where they're able to actually just win through that top lane international carry.
It's time to move into game number 2. Royalty Esports has won the first game. This is the chance for 5 Lonely Men to maybe equalize. We'll have to wait and see. Let's jump right on in.
Right, back at it again, game number 2 of the best of 5. Like, we have time, we're getting comfortable, the vocal cords are getting warmed up, and Trevor, how are you feeling for this game?
Excited. I see a level 1 invade being threatened. Nothing makes me happier. That is 110% just my silver scrub mentality. We love to see a big mess level 1. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to see a little bit more strength from 5 Lonely Men this round, a lot more decisiveness coming off of this side, and not so much sitting back and kind of just accepting what happens and playing. I like them to play proactive as opposed to reactive, I think, this round.
Definitely. I mean, proactive is the name of the game, and a lot of teams in SA especially like to play reactive, where you kind of just react and see what the enemy's doing and then try to counter that. But, I mean, honestly, putting that foot on the throttle, saying, hey, we are Royalty, we are confident, that's exactly what we saw them do in that first game. So in this case, I kind of mentioned it earlier, where we need 5 Lonely Men to kind of put this game on its head, say, hey, stock standard League of Legends is not working for us, we're not going to win the 5v5 because they're choking us so hard top lane. So they tried putting him mid, twice now we've seen it has not worked. So what do? Instead, they put him bot lane, international grandmaster player, play the Yasuo. So fingers crossed he knows what he's doing on this Yasuo. Actually, no, I lie, it's mid lane Yasuo. So he's trying the mid again. I thought it was going to be the Rakan Yasuo bot lane combo, but apparently not. So let's see what happens.
I really would like to see into the heads of 5 Lonely Men in their drafting phase, because we've just constantly seen this top laner get banned out and then flexed everywhere else. But like, it begs the question, are those 5 champs being banned out like his sole top lane pool? Why can we not see the Yasuo in top lane, for example, or even other top laners? I mean, it's one. Okay, oh, he walks out safely. Okay,
he's saying hi. He says, I have pressure, I'm not gonna pull trigger here, but I see you, so careful, watch where you stand, you overextend, I will be here. On the other hand, Teemo saying, I've got a brush, I'm setting up for the call. It worked last time, but this is a big investment, because now currently we have Nocturne picking up chickens, which means he will be a camp up if this gank does not go according to plan. Realistically though, I mean, Flash at best gonna be lost here, so Ideal would wait in the shadows till the buff is low enough, walk in, smite, steal, and then kill Nocturne or just run away. Let's see what happens though. Hello, Teemo.
He could. Spotted.
Fear does come through, so the cancel on the cap. We do have a bit of a rotation. First priority from the 5 Lonely Men as they made the initial play. As now support Flash looks for the technical connection. Not again gonna find the skill shot. As he's still trying to warm up, but it looks like Teemo will drop for the first blood. And that right there is 5 Lonely Men not looking good, because that was a huge investment from them. This is exactly what we were concerned about, is that if you make this play, it does not work out. You're basically throwing your entire early game out. And it looks like Serenity was finally able to return at least 1 kill over. So that's gonna be the 2-for-1 as the fight still continuing. The dash, and the Yasuo knockup won't be there, but the virus damage again with the Q missing. The skill shots are just not finding it, and the double turnover. Blue side TP again, looking to try to rejoin this fight. It's been a level 3 fight that has gone on for almost a minute and a half now.
I think a bit of a troll from Lux there. Oh.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't
Okay.
bad. It's just that the flash, like, lockdown did not connect. We saw a lot of skill shots missed by Serenity. Sorry, not Serenity, by Unique in that first game. So perhaps Unique just needs to actually play some aim labs, do some warm-up. I don't know what, Androva, your warm-up is before you play League, but the skill shots are just not there.
I mean, no, I wasn't even referring to that, but yes, thank you for bringing that to my attention. But I'm talking in that last little bit where Varus ended up dying there. I don't know if you saw, Lux got the double stun,
Oh no.
and her passive was
Doubling
just
down.
chilling. Timo doing
Cynical is
Timo
here.
things.
Timo, he knows he has to create pressure because if he does not make up that gap, he is so far behind, which is exactly the issue with Timo, Jungle, and Cynical having some good success in the first game, but able to get a bit of a Dark Harvest stack and relieve pressure. Serenity again looking to roam. We have that 6, looking to try and basically farm solo bottom, so it opens up that opportunity for Serenity not play Yuumi, but Rakan, which means he can have mid lane counter active like potential.
I like what we're seeing from 5 Lonely Men, I won't lie. This Yasuo, a pretty strong pick, great movement from the mid lane there to help back up that Timo. I think maybe they're just missing a bit of they just need to clean up the edges on a lot of their plays so that we don't have too many mistakes such as what we saw in the bot lane there. But 5 Lonely Men still being able to turn that to their advantage. And we need to see more of that from them this game if they want to be able to turn the series around.
Right, so we had non-stop fighting for like 5 minutes now. I haven't even got a touch on the lane matchups yet, and we can already see basically how you mentioned earlier, like why put the Yasuo in mid instead of top. Ideal situation for 5 Lonely Men is that they have Darkseid on Galio into that into the Mundo, and have Yasuo into Cassidy, because Yasuo can quite easily dump the Cassidy in the early stages as he is very strong. Early Cassidy needs to scale up, but Royalty know this, so instead they're going to go for the lane swap. They're going to constantly swap to make sure that Mundo matches Yasuo and Cassidy just scales into the Galio, because realistically if Royalty are able to do that, they can nullify the potential for that early game lead, that tempo advantage, and potentially that snowball that we want to see out of Yasuo for 5 Lonely Men's sake. In this case, however, Serenity just going for some cheeky poke.
To be honest, exactly the way you need to be playing Rakan. You know, he's not the kind of support that just sits back and watches what is happening. As soon as, you see the opportunity to use that W, you want to be on it, taking advantage of that, and just poking down, potentially even getting a kill on the bot lane. We've got Timo roaming bot here. Do we see a gank?
Timo already, we can see just the gap in the farm in terms of like Nocturne at 40 farm was opposed to the 22 from Timo, because he went for the flip, it did not work out. So Cynical knows he has to make up that gap now in the form of that DPS. It's going to be unfortunately Serenity able to find that kill, so not going to be over to Cynical, just walking away with a consolation prize of that Dark Harvest stack. And in this case, not the worst situation, but ideally would have been Cynical getting a kill and some gold to make up that lead that he's lost.
Now we need Serenity to go full AP Rakan and just run it. Taking advantage of those kills. No, I'm joking. Please don't. But yeah, definitely, listen, I think early game stages, 5 Lonely Men need to take what they can get right now. They are ahead. I think any chance they get to maintain and increase that advantage, they must definitely welcome with open hands.
So the thing about Nocturne is that he's very much a power farmer. He wants to basically just hit camp to camp to camp, play Path of Exile, just do nothing but clear jungle creeps until he gets that level 6, unlocks the ult, suddenly Paranoia, that darkness, the SCOM ability is enabled, and that's when he starts playing the game. You pair that with the new item, like you mentioned, thanks to the preseason, makes it the ultimate even shorter of a cooldown, and suddenly he's just ganking lane to lane to lane with that ult in sort of like hug form, level 1, that short range. But nonetheless, Timo doing the best he can to try to slow that down, but level 6 now hit, so able to get the objective, the buff stolen away from the enemy side jungle, means Cynical even further behind, and honestly, so far, Cynical is just not having a great time.
Yeah, Cynical doing his best though, playing like the absolutely oppressive and menace to society that Timo is. We got a huge fight coming down in bot lane though. Are 5 Lonely Men able to convert a kill?
Paranoia. Entrance stage left the flash away, the knockup says no, but the flash over, 450 gold bounty secured, as that will be kill number 3 for the side of Royalty.
I don't even know if the flash was needed from Nocturne. The spell shield was still up, and I think it had just been triggered, but maybe the flash is a gap closer to get in that last auto as well. Playing definitely well, as you mentioned. that paranoia is online. 5 lonely men need to play intelligently now. They need to be able to track this Nocturne, because as soon as someone's left alone, he's going to be there, and the team's going to be there to follow as well.
I mean, it's very much a mental game as well. We saw how before we had that drive-by saying, "Hi, don't have to gank you, but just know that I am here waiting in the shadows." And that's exactly the thought process behind this Nocturne pick. Suddenly, Yasuo not able to play up like at all, because if Nocturne is even remotely close, you have that click of the ultimate, suddenly he's flying in, and you're caught off in a bad spot. So the name of the game for Royalty, shut down PP, don't let him get that early lead, and just kind of win as a constellation.
Yeah. We got Drake and Rift Herald online. It'll be interesting to see who pulls the trigger first and where. Ideally wanting to get that first Rift Herald before 14 minutes so you can make the best and get those turret plates. Shelly does her best either way, but being able to convert that extra gold, definitely just a better advantage. Teemo is still struggling with farm, or double, well, got half the farm with the Nocturne, but as mentioned, Nocturne just a cool.
Missing ping does come through, so they know the gang's coming, but it is Serenity playing Rakan very mobile. Still pre-6 means that he has no form of CC ultimate available, so quickness still not available. Unfortunately, this will not work out for them as Mundo just able to catch that wave. I respect the attempt. He knows he needs to pull pressure. He got 2 kills early, and instead they're gonna now just play for this dragon.
Awesome call from 5 lonely men. You know, we saw them gaining no objectives in... Oh, okay. Flashbacks. PTSD.
Yeah, Lax pre-6, so they're okay for this time.
Yeah.
Last attempted snipe.
But losing the Rift Herald in exchange for that, nobody really in a spot to check that. Maybe Teemo does make his way after realizing his red buff is missing. Going instead for the chickens, so we will see this Rift Herald going uncontested over towards Royalty.
Alright, so Shelly ready to do a part. She's looking forward to... Hang on, there was a kill on the top side. Okay. Rest in peace, Dark Side. Oh. Galio down. Cassidy, I mean, honestly, again, it's a bit of a reverse situation. Before, Cassidy cannot afford to get kills in this early to mid stage, because the quicker Cassidy... Hallow! Cynical. Bad spot, bad timing. He knows you're there. There's a ward. Goodbye, friend. Teemo down. 0 for 2.
And that's the power of the Nocturne, you know. That ult is on such a low cooldown. I think we're looking at like 80 seconds level 1, you know, which is...
Uh-oh. Rakan's here for new plans. Blocked from the spell shield though, so no like chain CC. That would have been kind of clean, but I mean, a single click of that spell shield ability, and he's walking out of there alive. So Nocturne just able to work his way out of that one. Bit of trouble, almost reversed onto him.
Yeah, we luckily don't see that tower falling just yet in the top lane, but gold going over to, I think, 2 or 3 members of Royalty. Ziggs doing his best down here to defend this tower. It's not looking too healthy, but we are heading into mid-game, so this kind of thing does happen. Hopefully we can see 5 lonely men catching on to that next Rift Herald to take advantage of that Ziggs satchel passive, you know. If there's more than one reason to pick a Ziggs, and that I think is one of the more powerful reasons, you know, take advantage of that and use it as best you can to take those objectives while you have the chance. These shrooms!
Oh, shrooms. Yeah, there we go. That's the power of Teemo, that objective control, bit of a budget AP Maokai support, if you will. So, I mean, something that's kind of interesting is just decisions in terms of in terms of abilities. Like, we have cleanse picked up by Pete instead of the usual TP that you would like to see on Ziggs. In this case, they do have a decent amount of CC, so that cleanse is not the worst case, but that means that he will not be able to play map as effectively, and that relies now on Darkside purely for those map rotations or the counter, using that Stand United or using his own ability of teleport. So again, now we can kind of see they've gone for that lane swap off of that recent reset, which means that Yasuo perhaps has a bit of a window of opportunity to get the lead that the team needs. A lot of pressure on him, as Cassidy has been gifted a kill and a decent amount of farms, so Cassidy not exactly in the worst of places now.
Yeah, Cassidy also sitting on a completed item. Yasuo not just yet, and also not much built in magic resist on that Yasuo, so should Cassidy choose to pull the trigger, it could be a little bit detrimental for him.
Top side, bit of a hover. Nocturne in range, could look for the dive turret pretty low, so the opening may just be presenting itself. Teemo, on the other hand, is close topside, but he's no Nocturne, so he cannot close that gap. He is quick, but he's not flying across the screen quick. Teemo, the blind, the flash away, maybe in a bad spot now, no signs of Shreams though, so he should be able to walk his way to this one, but Cassidy just opting to now try to turn the tables. The tables have turned, but Galio has new plans, the turn of the table back over, the flipping, if you will, Darkseid is making sure, hang on, it's gonna be Mundo from the mid lane now. Teemo in a bad spot is the first member, does drop Yasuo out of his Serenity, goes up, Ziggs goes right, and Galio re-engaging, just get to the popcorn as the taunt is there, just don't let him get out. Mundo going where he pleases, unable to really stop him as Darkseid just says, fine, leave, go away, we don't want to fight you anyway.
The power of Mundo. You're able to walk onto the back line, take the kill that you want, and essentially just walk out, you know? Whether it's the spell shield lending a hand to that, or the fact that Mundo just takes so little damage at this stage in the game. You know, he's got his first item, going for that chem tank build.
Bit of the spinnerism.
But yeah, we've got Royalty kind of just turning the game around a little bit. You know, we're looking at a slight 4k gold lead. They're leading on kills, and I think they're probably close to taking first tower as well. Soon. I think it's top lane tower. Oh, it's gone already. I was joking.
Yeah, so first brick secured by Royalty. I think the interesting part now is that just on that objective bounties, that new feature brought up by Wright, thank you preseason, means that 5 lonely men have the opportunity to potentially work their way back into this game, close that gold gap if they're able to pick up objectives. They have Ziggs. Ziggs does one thing really, really well, and that's blow stuff up, kind of like Jinx. So turrets are a very nice opportunity for him to work back into this game, as he has fallen pretty far behind in gold compared to Boris, who's had a support majority of the time. So we can kind of see that CS gap in the bot lane forming, as Ziggs doing the best that he can not to die, just to clear wave, and Pete so far, not for naught, so he's chilling, he's happy.
Yeah.
Hello, big fight. Lack's gonna be caught off the 2-man lockdown, looking to try to turn some damage, does end up dropping. That's gonna be now 3 members dead, as Royalty now not actually looking too bad.
Yeah, 5 lonely men may be a little bit hasty to pull the trigger there, knowing that they have to try do something, seeing that Drake is up, and maybe just a little bit too hasty, not really understanding where all members of Royalty are, and as a result getting turned around on, also not necessarily full health bars, so just a bit of an oof for them.
Right, so
We got
indeed,
mountains
29, 30k, 6,500 gold lead, 16 minutes in. I mean, we saw the Teemo was picked, we knew it was a flip, he went for that opportunity, tried to close the gap, but now a little bit more telegraphed. This team has a little bit more practice behind them, they know what to expect, they have that strong communication, and it's exactly what you kind of expect from the side of Royalty. So 5 lonely men, not looking too hard, but at the same time, there's still opportunity. Yasuo 2 for 3, he's not doing too badly, as well as Galio top, sitting on a bit of gold, sitting on a bit of damage, a bit of items, should become quite tanky. So it's going to very much come down to, can 5 lonely men find that choke, find the multi-man knockup, whether it's through Khan, whether it's through Galio, into that Yasuo last breath, with the flip of Rift-Held Shelly back on the table, 17 minutes in.
I want to see Lux poking out, doing some damage here, and kind of making a gap for the Cassidy to go in and explode someone.
Darkseid blocked. Hello, backline Teemo. Ziggs in this case may just find his first death. Pete just able to survive thanks to the assistance from the friends, but they do end up dropping Seneca as Serenity just trying to get away. The triple. Cassidy is online.
Wow.
Cassidy is scary, but Yasuo has no intention of managing to get that kill for the Quadra, and Royalty just looking too strong in the second game.
Oh my word, I wanted to say 5 lonely men were doing a great job there. You know, they rotated the full team up, knowing that maybe they weren't going to win the team fight if all of them weren't present, but Royalty kind of just saying, well, you know, we've got the paranoia, we've got a Cassidy, just that in itself is powerful, I guess, and Castle win, yes. And totally turning that entire fight on its head with minimal effort as well.
This is what we needed to see from last game's 5 lonely men side. They had the Cassidy, they had that potential, and this is kind of what you expected, but I mean, you can see how Royalty have done their homework. They know they need to shut down mid lane, and that's exactly what they're doing to great success. Second game, very much looking like a Royalty win at this rate. And I mean, it is a best of 5, so honestly, 5 lonely men need to pull their socks up. They're looking lonely, they're looking cold. Get these guys some new socks, because we want to get to at least game number 4.
Yeah, please. And I mean, things looking a little bit dicey for them right now. You know, that 5-1 Cassidy with a completed and evolved Seraph's Embrace. I can't remember if it's called Queen's Tribute or Seraph's once it's upgraded, but almost fully stacked that tier. Cassidon, level 12, looking very scary. Nocturne as well, that Axiom Arc that we spoke about is online, so that ult is going to be on a basically nothing cooldown right now. Mundo tanking up, he's got on that extra magic resist now, because obviously, as you mentioned, in that pick phase, in draft, we only have 180 champion on the side of 5 Lonely Men. There goes the Paranoia.
And again, so much pressure just being applied. Yasuo being completely shut out of the game. And I mean, not only does Mundo go away pleases now, he goes there quickly, moving speed in hand from that mythic item that he's picked up. 4 for 1 for 4. And I mean, Royalty are looking just too strong.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the fact that the Yasuo was so pushed up without a tower down there in the bot lane, you know. You should know at this stage in the game, you know, once those towers are gone, your safe area starts decreasing and moving further and further towards your base. You know, being somewhere up where your tower used to be with a Nocturne on the map, you don't know what kind of vision these guys are. If you're standing on a minion, that's enough as it is. It's very dangerous to be alone in this case.
Yeah, I mean, one wrong turn, you're down an alley alone, you find a castle win, you find a Nocturne. These are not two guys you want to get stuck between if you're a rock. And in this case, it's going to be now Nasha, the new objective in play for the side of Royalty. Realistically, I just do not see 5 Lonely Men looking to contest this. I mean, they kind of need to. We had a very similar situation in the game yesterday as we had actually Riftail, we have Riftail dropped for the mid-side siege. So they're saying, you guys can go for Nasha, that's fine. We are going to shove wave, we're going to try and get as much as we can in terms of bounties off the potentially that mid-tier 1, tier 2 turrets. But at the same time now, Nasha in the hand, if they lose this fight, potentially inhib, if not base, could come as a result. So they got the mid-turret siege, they've got their bounties, they've got an out, as Varus actually managing to find a pick on a Pete now. Not for 3, the flash over, Timo says hi, Cynical saying, I want to get some damage down, I'm not as scary as I'd like to be, so he just goes for the quick grief and he's out of here, and 2 members dead on the side of 5 Lonely Men.
Yeah, I think grief is the only way to describe that. You know, you're an 0-5 Teemo, you have one item and you're going to flash onto a bot lane duo. Nocturne now ulting Yasuo in the bot lane as well. I think, yep, there goes Yes. Oh dear. Yep. I think
you hate to see it.
5 Lonely Men just losing their heads a little bit at this stage in the game. You know, if you know that you're weaker against your opponents, it's better to just try fight it as a team. You know, being alone. Once again, that Yasuo caught so far up, maybe greeting for that tower bounty. 5 Lonely Men just falling apart.
Did not even manage to get it, unfortunately, and this is kind of the risk you run with that Teemo pick. I said it yesterday, they found success with it, able to pick off the pick in the jungle. Teemo kind of just snowballing and taking control. In this case, he went for the flip in the early stages, which is what he needs to do, but it did not work out according to plan. It netted him that loss in terms of the camp, a lot of time was gone, and he basically just fell behind, and Nocturne from that is able to basically take over the game. Ultimate basically being popped off cooldown, ability to fly across the map, getting stronger and stronger with each extra point into ulti, level 11 now, into 13, so I mean honestly it's just not a fun situation for 5 Lonely Men to try and bring it back from. So their job now, slow the game down, try and get farm onto the carries. Maybe we get a bit of a misposition from Royalty, which honestly I think this is one of the teams that you wouldn't really expect them to make too many macro mistakes, as they are a combination of some of SA's finest. So I mean it's just not a good team to be in this position against.
No, not at all. And I mean, this Yasuo pick seeming to be a good idea earlier on in game, managing to get those two early kills.
He's got a surprise, it's a forward Teemo, but the damage is not going to be there. Serenity as well, dropping in with a quickness, the knockup into finally that Yasuo combo, but it is Mundo. He is refusing to die, as it's actually going to be Yasuo traded over the shutdown goal, finally on the Teemo, as kill number 1 comes in for him, as well as death number 7, with the double into the recall disrespect. Dar says, you're dead friend, we know it, and I will take my triple on the ring.
Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, back in base, a full-on Nocturne tower dive. Is Galio able to outplay this? No, the turret's gone.
Inhibitor next.
Is that game, Sheepii?
You know, the rule of thumb, I always say it, when an enemy team has Nasha, don't take a fight unless you can guarantee it, because you are going to lose everything if you do, and right here is the inhib. Nexus now in sight, and game 3 is on the tables. Royalty looking incredibly strong as we expect, and 5 Lonely Men need to try reapproach it, as this is not working. Right, back to Sam in just a second. I mean, I'm happy with the game so far.
Happy with the game? You're not happy with the game if you're a member of Five Lonely Men right now, because you just gave Royalty Esports a chance to claim match points in game number 3. I mean, Sheepii, Timo Jungle? I mean, what was with that?
Okay, so it's a bit of a weird one. I think it's like a sort of like a for fun and comfort pick for their jungler. We had great success seeing that pick coming through in the semis. They managed to make it work, but I mean, again, you're playing against a team that is one of the most experienced in terms of just player individually. Like they've been around for so many years that they know what to expect, like the advantages, the weaknesses of something like a Timo jungle, so they can punish it, and that's exactly what we saw here. He went for that coin flip. If it lands heads, they can get a lot out of it. If it lands tails, it's basically their entirety of like that early stage is done and dusted, and in this case, the coin landed on tails. It just did not work out for Five Lonely Men.
I mean, on that point, something else that I wanted to talk about, Sheepii, Ziggs. I mean, do you think that he just didn't plug his mouse in? I mean, there was just nothing happening there. What was that about?
Okay, shame. In his defense, that's exactly what he wanted to do. So basically, the support from the Five Lonely Men, Serenity, went for a bit more roaming playstyle. He wanted to try impact map, maybe help out the international mid lane in this case, but again, didn't really have much success. So Pete's job in that case is just do nothing. So exactly what you were saying that happen is what he wants. He wants to try and nullify that lane so he can kind of go even in that 1v2 situation, which lets basically the rest of the team open up map potential. In this case, that potential didn't really result in anything, as Royalty just managed to play it better. So good idea, execution was fine, but it just didn't come together as you would have liked to see it for Five Lonely Men.
So Royalty Esports has looked really impressive. What I thought was quite interesting, Androva, was in game number 1, they came out very aggressive. There was that fast-paced play for them, but I thought that both teams they slowed the pace down a little bit for game 2. Why do you think that was?
Definitely like Royalty. It's definitely just the champs that they pick. They, the Kassadin, very late game scaling champion. He does need a couple kills, a couple items before he comes online. Those were kind of gifted to him with that quadra kill we saw after that Herald fight. And Five Lonely Men just apparently not really seeing what was going on there, or not acknowledging that they needed to shut these guys down or end up in the game early before that happened. So kind of just playing right into what Royalty wanted for their win condition.
So you saw me earlier on there, just before I asked a question, I did that little sneaky look, and you probably, if you were smart, you saw my hand to go at my mouse, and that's because the big bosses have told me that incredible Logitech G League of Legends hamper, which is the limited edition League of Legends set that's arrived here in South Africa. You can get it from Incredible Connection. I am going to be allowed to announce and draw a winner very soon. So I'm giving you a heads up. You have a chance. Head on over to either the Incredible Connection Twitter accounts or the Metal State Twitter accounts. Go and engage with the tweets that they have there where they are showing you that amazing set, because you've got probably about 10 minutes left before you won't be able to win it. So go check that out. This is your opportunity. Right, Androva, what does Five Lonely Men have to do in game number 3 if they have any hope of pulling this back?
Hard question.
Yo, that's the important question. Hey, Sam. I mean, I'll give my 2 cents and then maybe hand it over to Sheepii to give us a professional opinion. But
You're a professional. You say it.
I would love to see Five Lonely Men doing a little bit more within their draft phase, firstly. I feel like they're prioritizing this bot lane pick too much. I think they can rely on their bot lane to do their job and not run it down at this point. They haven't shown much disappointment compared to the rest of the map in this series yet. So I'd like to try see them prioritize that top lane pick. I'm pretty sure they know that if they let their top laner get any of these picks, he's probably going to be camped all day. But then they need to maybe look at saying, okay, cool, let's do what we did in the first game. Let's take that Ezreal. Let's get a more roaming support, whether that be Bard. They tried Nautilus yesterday as well. Not the Yuumi, please. And they need to say, cool, we're going to put our top laner on a comfort pick. We're not going to throw him out of his role completely, put him on a completely different champ either. Put him on something aggressive that he can play. Royalty only have 3 bans that they can give. There are still 2 champs that he can comfortably, or so it seems, that he can comfortably play. Do that, prioritize top lane, try give it a bit more attention, because it seems like we're losing in that top mid jungle duo. So Yeah, guys, just prioritize comfort because I think right now they're trying too hard to make things happen elsewhere.
Sheepy, how about you?
Honestly, it's not an easy one. Like this is kind of a situation where we've seen a lot of the finals in the past actually go to, especially the LAN events for League and SA, those old school LANs before the whole lockdown and whatnot. Those were good times because SA is known for that reverse sweep, especially Royalty actually. Like Royalty coined that phrase of the Royalty reverse sweep because they've basically consistently taken it back in these best of fives from being 2 games down. In this case, maybe we get the reverse Royalty sweep where it's actually in fact happening to them instead. With the current I guess history of the previous 2 games, I just don't see that happening. I want to see at least one game being taken off of them, as like a quick 3-0 is never fun for anybody. But honestly, in terms of like what they can actually do is really, it's a difficult question because honestly, I think you've got to start all over again. You've got to try find some sort of way to flip the game on its head, bring out something you haven't really seen in the past or shown in the tournament so far, some sort of trump card, whether it was that Yasuo going bot lane last game, pairing it instead with bot lane with like a really strong kill lane, because that basically says Royalty has to try to adapt instead of trying to cap mid or top, which is a bit different. They have to play for bottom, but again, it's a really hard situation to be in. This comes down to, have you put in the practice? Have you actually had stuff that you've basically, I guess, gone through as a team in the past that you can now sort of fall back onto? And I mean, from a 5 Lonely Men's perspective, they're a team that's very much kind of just put together a couple days before the event. So it's very impressive that they've got this far, but I mean, maybe this is the end of their luck.
We will have to find out. We are going to be moving into match points ultimately. Royalty Esports, 2 games in their back pocket. It's a best of 5, which means if they win the next one, they get claimed or they get crowned the champions. We're going to take a short break. That's going to give you a chance to get some snacks, to get some drinks, and also to make sure that you enter that Logitech G competition, because when we get back, I'm going to be announcing the winner. We'll see you in a bit.
Hand out she holds, it's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke, that's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow, we can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before. We've all been here before. my shoulders, illuminate me now. Out from the shadows, somewhere beyond the clouds, swimming in circles, fighting against the tide. Under the surface, finally coming to life. Quiet revival, feel it in my bones, drifting for miles, lost with no sight of home. Waves breaking, unraveling in my mind. I'll let the race take.
Welcome back to the All-Star Underground League of Legends Grand Finals. As you hopefully know by now, Royalty Esports has won 2 games. They need a 3rd game and they will take the championship. It is a best of 5 though, so can 5 lonely men come back? That's what we're going to find out in a little bit. But before we do that, I told you before the break, I now have a chance to give away something really cool. So Logitech G partnered up with League of Legends and has this amazing sort of limited edition League of Legends kit. They've taken all their best peripherals, things from like the Pro X keyboard, the Pro X mouse. You can also get the Pro X headsets, all done in this beautiful like dark blue and gold League of Legends motif. There is a mouse mat as well, and Incredible Connection has put this entire kit together and they've been giving it away. So if you've head on over to the Metal Set and Incredible Connection Twitter channels, you would have seen the tweets going out. You needed to engage with it, and now we have a winner. And I can confirm that during the break, Androva tried to bribe me into cheating this and just announcing her as the winner. I considered it, but I like my job, so I'm not going to do that. There is someone in the chat that has won the hamper. Congratulations to, and your name is on the screen right now, Pigeon, a gazillion numbers I'm not going to mention, and we've got the tweet running as well. You have just won yourself that amazing League of Legends hamper. I'm not going to lie, I'm low-key jealous. Androva as well. I mean, I'm sorry we couldn't give it to you, but Pigeon has said that you can have his left leg. So is that okay? I mean, I'm hoping that that'll be all right. We'll find out from her later if she's all right with that. We do have some more giveaways coming up. Of course, that 25,000 Rand gaming PC, I'll be announcing a winner at the end of the stream. There'll be a couple more giveaways during the game, so make sure that you're active in the Twitch chat. Follow those mods. If you are a winner, the Incredible Connection All-Star Gaming team will slide into your DM, so don't worry too much about that. We're now just waiting to find out if the players are ready to go and if we can jump into game number 3. I hope that you've been enjoying the League of Legends action. I think it's been really exciting to see how supportive the South African community has been. It's been really exciting to see everyone getting hyped. And I think we have to say a big shout out to Incredible Connection, because getting behind all of these titles wasn't just League of Legends. They got behind some sim racing. They did some Siege. They've really been trying to find a bunch of different games, Valorant as well last week, where they just want to share as much love as they can with the competitive gaming community. So show them some love. When you're buying your festive gifts this year, make sure that you head on over to their website, go into store, do a little shopping there, because they're supporting us. They're supporting South African gamers, so we should definitely support them. It is time now for you to support the team that you want to see take this grand finals. We are jumping into game number 3.
Right, we're back at it again for potentially the final game. Fingers crossed it's not so. I mean, 5 lonely men, I'm giving you the caster's curse. Take us to the 4th game. We're not ready to go home. And bans starting out with that Lee Sin, so no more jungle Lee Sin allowed, as we did have it pop off pretty hard in that first game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Royalty feel the need to change any of their bans. We're probably going to see all top lane focus. That Cassidy definitely a problem for 5 lonely men in the previous game. I think maybe also considering I forgot who the top laner was. It was Mundo. Not really much of a problem, but had a lot of presence on the map, and maybe we just attribute that to the player as opposed to the actual champion. But yeah, seems like a pretty standard ban phase. We've seen a lot from Royalty that we've seen before.
Right, so I mean, with regards to changing the bans, I'm actually kind of hoping Royalty does just let through like the Jax or the Fiora. Just come on, guys, just let them have one of his comfort picks. You have 2 lives to work with here, if not more. So there's no way they locked it in. There is no way. I'm calling the bluff.
Please.
Teemo is not being picked first pick here. It is not happening. Don't you dare, Teemo.
Give us the
5
Fiora.
seconds.
Come on. They trolling. They
Have
joking.
to be
It's-
Trundle. Yep, they're trolling indeed.
Okay. Trundle, a good
Right.
pick, is very strong right now with the way Glacial works after the preseason changes. So there's a chance that that could be either jungle, top, and even support. We saw Trundle in the support role during the knockout stages earlier in the week as well. And the Bard back on the side of Royalty, which means we're probably going to see a safe ADC and all of those crazy Bard rooms again.
Yeah, so Bard, again, back on his natural territory, and that is for Unique in the support lane. So we can kind of expect that Ezreal pickup, or maybe a Ziggs in this case, both available. And Rumble was banned away in that first or second game, like you mentioned. So again, Rumble mid lane potentially could be flexed in the jungle, hence that first rotation pickup. And we asked for an Arcane character. What did we get in the third, potentially final game? Cleveland is here. Hopefully has that Arcane skin, but we'll see what happens with regards to that as we get that final pickup for the first rotation. Maybe a support, but that would kind of give away what Trundle's flex potential is.
I'm praying for a top lane pick here. The Fiora and the Garen are open. 5 Lonely Men need to pick their top laner. I feel no.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. I kind of don't think the support was the go-to here.
No, listen. Yeah, I feel really torn about the way 5 Lonely Men have been drafting, because it's been the same every time where they're trying to prioritize these bot picks. And as I mentioned earlier, I think their bot has been playing decently enough that they don't need to be a focus right now, especially since they're not playing well enough to take over their lane. So prioritizing that pick sometimes feels like a bit of a waste, where I think they really should be working on that jungle mid, jungle top duo and putting strength into there.
Right, so the final bans, Fiora taken out. Do we get something kind of spicy for the top lane? Hopefully no signs of that Teemo, but still time will tell. Kennen, on the other hand, we saw Kennen coming through from the sides of Royalty in the previous series, I believe, versus this exact team.
Is the first of many foes.
As the Garen not
There's the
taken out,
Garen
so
now.
I don't think have we seen a Garen yet?
We have not seen a Garen, but I have reason to believe that it is part of PP's I call myself every time. Anyway, part of his champ pool. So Royalty doing their homework there.
Right, so final ban, LeBlanc off the table yet again. Kind of a scary one, and it's going to be the Nocturne. So Nocturne is having a little bit too much impact in that previous game, so will not be available. But honestly, that could be Rumble Jungle, it could be mid, so a bit of a
Yeah.
bait in terms of that final ban for 5 Lonely Men.
Yeah, I can't believe that Nocturne slipped my mind. That was the biggest impact on that last game. We're seeing a return of the Aatrox potentially in the top lane there. Didn't do too badly in that first game. Was just a solid part of the team and really helped when we got around to those team fights. Was doing a lot of damage to the back line. So not a bad call on the side of Royalty. I think
Mundo
that's
still
definitely.
available?
Oh, yeah.
Mundo was the go-to pick into this Aatrox matchup before, I believe, so we'll see what we get out of that one. It was, I believe, Senegal playing topside in that case, and we'll see what we have. A little bit of time, so you can already see the players not 100% sold on what their plan is here, as Gnar, the hover, the go-to, and that Gnar is
Okay.
going to be kind of interesting in the hands of PP, like you mentioned before. So he's kind of the trump card. He needs to be on something comfortable. We haven't seen his Gnar up to this
Yeah.
point, so we don't really know what to expect from it. But again, he has done pretty well so far. So I'd like to see some form of AP being drafted here, as we have a very AD heavy comp coming through from the side of 5 Lonely Men.
We also don't know if it's going to be PP on that now. He has not played a top lane game this series yet, but Anivia locked in for mid lane. I doubt that that's going to go over to PP. I could be mistaken,
That will-
so
that'll
let's
be
see what
Pete's,
happens.
This is my prediction for this one, is that Pete plays the Anivia mid lane. That's something he's been kind of practicing. So maybe they, instead of putting him on Zig's bot lane, they give him that cheeky swap to the mid lane. But at the same time, we had something similar yesterday, as the Tristana is the go-to. So Tristana mid, we saw it again yesterday in that series. So it's going back to the comforts. If it's available, if it works in the situation, don't change it. Obviously, not exactly the series you want to kind of mess around with. Sure, Royalty isn't a good spot with that 2-0 lead in the best of 5. But, I mean, do you have fun in the third game and risk it going further? Or you just play the comfort, play what you know you do, and play what you know you do well?
I think 5 Lonely Men definitely drafted a little smarter this round. The Rakan pick, questionable, but we'll deal with it. Great seeing that Kate coming out. I think we've been a little bit tired seeing. I don't know. I've been a bit tired seeing that Ziggs bot lane. So let's see. We've got some proper ADCs rolling it out. Let's see what happens.
So before we get into this, I have some questions, and I understand that this is a grand final. I realize that this is potentially match points. I'm well aware that this is extremely important, but I have a far more important question to ask. Sheepii, can you walk us through your hair care routine? It's something that a lot of us want to know.
I was waiting for that question. Honestly, I saw it popping up a couple of times here. You're putting me on the spot. I don't know my routine, I'll be honest. It's kind of just wake up in the morning, wet your hair. If it needs to be washed, wash it. I have shampoo, I have conditioner, don't worry. I just don't know what they are. I cannot tell you that, so I apologize. I will know for next time, though, for sure.
I mean, I feel like you're lying. You just don't want us to know the secret to having those glorious locks. But what ifs? It's fun. We'll take it. I mean, it's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Also, a little bit disappointed in 5 Lonely Men's draft pick, Androva. I don't think that this is. I just don't know what they're thinking there.
Yeah, I think at this stage we feel like we're all kind of repeating ourselves, saying, "What are they doing?" You know, and like Sheepii said, it's going to be really difficult for them to make a decision on what they need to do to change up this series and potentially take us to the 4th, maybe even 5th game. And I don't have anything to say anymore. I think they definitely maybe did a little bit better this time around. You know, I'm happy that we've seen like some different champions coming out of them. There's a chance, well, we're going to see PP in the top lane, which I'm happy because I feel like if you're dominant in a certain role, you need to stick to that because it might put your team at a bit of a disadvantage when 2 of you are going out not only off role but playing champs you're not necessarily used to playing in that role. So hopefully we see a bit of a difference. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what their game plan must be. I'm sure Sheepii will be able to shed more light on that, but they didn't lose too hard in the draft phase this time around, I think.
Sheepii, what do you think?
Right, so with regards to the comps, I think it is looking a little bit better, so fingers crossed this is the reversal, the start of the reversal. Obviously, if there was a time to double down and just make sure you have your ducks in a row, this would be that game. You have no more wiggle room. This is the try-hard. This is the finals. This is potentially the final game. So you really, really need to know what you're doing and make sure that you have it down. So a question for you, TechGirl. I mean, how are you finding League in terms of the cost so far? I mean, this, I believe, is your first League cost. Like, are you enjoying it? Is this something that you potentially will get more into in the future?
I mean, now you're putting me on the spot, right? I have to commit to this.
Only fair.
I'm finding it really interesting. I'm really more interested in the stories that are coming out of South Africa, because I think that the South African League of Legends community hasn't necessarily had those stories told nearly enough, and it is interesting. I'm also very impressed with this royalty lineup, which, as far as I'm aware, is not a confirmed future lineup, because there are those ATK players in the mix. Sheepie's laughing. Do you know something I don't?
No. I was just
Now
laughing
you're
at the
on
fact
the
that it
spot.
was
Now
a
you're
bit
gonna
of
tell
a
us
Leaks.
Okay, just repeat the question for me one more time.
No, we're not going to leak. I don't do that anymore. I did that at the start of my career, and I like players. I don't like it when they shout at me. I said I find it curious because this royalty lineup to me looks very strong, but this is not the confirmed royalty lineup, because we know that they have some ATK players currently, we presume, subbing in. So do you think come next season, I mean, is this specific event going to have any sort of bearing on some teams come next year?
So obviously this is all going to be my opinion, but from what I've seen in educational guests, so what happened was ATK lost recently to Instinct, kind of dethroned. They were always that like top dog team, and I mean honestly, they looked a bit shook up. A lot of the players saying or hinting at they want to retire for quite a while. Maybe this is the sign that ATK team or that core team of members is no more. We don't know. They didn't sign up for the event, and Royalty took that opportunity to strengthen their own roster, bump themselves up from that mid of the pack back to the top. So, I mean, fingers crossed we see some sort of hybrid, maybe not under Royalty, maybe under ATK. We don't know. We have to see. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell, and I'm sorry that we've wasted your time talking about something that has absolutely no bearing on game number 3, which is the decider, but I wanted to know, and we are now going to go into game a little bit late. Blame it all on me, hate on me, Sheepii and Androva. Let's go to game number 3.
Androva, we have game 3, potentially the finals. What are your expectations? Do you have any belief in that 5 lonely men reverse sweep, or is this going to be the done and dusted, quick and clean cast us out of here in record time?
Before I answer that, I want to have a hernia because Trundle has not opted in for that glacial rune, which seems to be so strong on him right now. Maybe more of a support lane pick, build. But yeah, I don't want to say it, but I feel like Royalty are just gonna do what they've been doing the whole series. We've seen some change from 5 lonely men, but it begs the question, is it too late? You know? So, as Sam said, time will tell.
So yeah, just touching back on that choice of Keystone, definitely I think the Glacier a little bit stronger in support role, as it has a bit of more of a supportive playstyle to it in that you slow and prevent players from dying. Trundle in this case needs to function as like a super high impact champion. He wants to have map presence, he wants to get the gank off, and potentially even himself get some kills here or there. We had that Teemo hover into the troll switcheroo, so Seneco having some fun with those picks and bans, but I mean I'm kind of excited for this bot side. This dark side, Caitlyn doesn't have the right skin on it, unfortunately, so no real Arcane Kate, so perhaps doesn't get that extra buff, that TFT little perk perhaps, but nonetheless it looks like bot lane maybe favoring 5 lonely men for a change.
Yeah, I'm maybe, Rakan, a bit of a great pick here. I'm disappointed we haven't seen any Leona picks through the series yet, which was something that we did see quite a bit last time. Or it's not last time, but through some of the games during the week. We've got an early Rakan roam mid, which is great on Serenity side. Kate very comfortable, she's able to stay safe. Because of that extra long auto attack range. But yeah, we'll have to see. I am very interested in seeing this mid lane matchup as well. Triss mid, very meta. I think was it beginning of this year or during last year's season internationally. Triss was a very strong pick, so kind of excited.
Top side.
Yeah, but top lane in trouble.
The jungle, again the same. Hang on, it was first blood bot side, actually going to be dark side, rest in peace. As the flash is burned, but the commit's going to be there. The DPS, the tick and the talk, and the ignite, the damage from the flames, but he does get the reverse turnover, but it's an execute! He did not hit him!
Oh my goodness. Already an exciting start to this game. Unfortunately, I would have loved to see what happened in that bot lane there.
Alright, so Royalty already 3 minutes in. Not quite the blood bot we saw in those previous games, but nonetheless, still trying to play proactive. And we kind of hinted that it could be Rumble mid, it could be Rumble jungle. And generally, from what we've seen, that Tristana likes to play mid lane. So the Rumble jungle, synergy there with perhaps some more of the Wombo. If they can get a good bot ultimate, perhaps all that corrupting chains from Varus means that Rumble Equalizer has some huge potential in these late game fights. As for the side of 5 lonely men, I kind of like the Anivia pick in that it offers a lot of wave clear as top lane. The city is not getting a break today. Man needs his coffee, just give him some time to breathe, and the top lane tilt is kicking in. Androva, put yourself in this top laner's position. You're playing SPP, you're playing Gnar, and for the last 3 games straight, you have done nothing besides 1v2, 1v3 on repeat. How does that affect your mental?
Honestly, it's not a great space to be in. You just woke up this morning, you wanted to play some League of Legends, but now they're taking revenge. Bot's super slippery though. Will Trundle get it? He does! Wow.
Okay.
Wonderful
So
from
at least some good
5
stuff.
men there.
Like,
Yeah.
5 Lonely
No,
needed
great.
to make some plays, and that's exactly what they've started to do. So they managed to get themselves that kill after the unsuccessful turn topside in that 1v2 situation. I mean, ideally we would have seen a 2-3 score right now, but instead it's going to be Royalty leading by just over 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
Serenity,
This
mid lane, the
Rakan
commits.
having... Oh,
Pete has egg though, I
Olivia's
think.
still got passive. Yes.
Yeah, she's good.
Okay.
Flash was burnt, so... this is kind
Still
of
lives
reframed
as well.
Serenity. Like, Serenity in the previous games or previous series that we casted was kind of playing even on roaming champions, not having much success with the ability to potentially match, for example, Unique's roam potential in how he likes to impact mid and top. So, yeah, on the Rakan, we're at least seeing him showing up mid lane and being effective in the sense that he gets those counter ganks now, so it's a good sign that he's been paying attention, he's realized his weaknesses, and he's trying to fix it. Top lane, however, this advantage to Aatrox makes it incredibly difficult as we get the Mega that's still up half left, and he takes the turret shot, he double jumps! And it does not work out. Dude, top lane is bleeding, and this is the one lane that you cannot afford to have it happen on.
You know, a strong Aatrox is a very scary thing, but I think this may be some of that tilt that we were talking about earlier. I mean, just trying to make plays happen and having them shut down every time because you're being camped, it is a problem. But now in the bot lane again, bot, maybe looking for something, not quite getting it. Yo, I feel really sorry for people because this is the first game in this series he's able to get onto his role, you know, play a champ he might know about, and I guess Royalty are just saying, listen, oh, Olivia passive triggered.
Okay, the egg.
Still burning?
Down the jump, gets the final auto. There it is. Cynical, the defocus. The second jump does come through into that turn around. Does he get executed? No. So this time you got a little bit lucky before. You managed to get away with just an execute. This time you will pay the price, and you do end up giving a kill over to 5 laning men. So something I kind of want to touch on is the fact that Darkside is actually a support main. So effectively in this team we have 2 supports playing bot lane together, Serenity and Darkside, which makes for a bit of an interesting one. I think Darkside does play a little bit of AD carry, but I mean, by no means is he on the same level as Vanzo in terms of my expectation for him. So they've put their AD carry mid lane as Anivia, they've put both their supports bot lane, and this is where I kind of want to touch on how majority of the teams that we've seen up to this point that 5 laning men themselves have played against are players on off roles, kind of like not mains. Royalty on the other hand, very comfortable on all their players' picks and positions, so you can see how it's already showing through those last 2 games that Royalty are just not here to mess around. They know what they're doing and they're here to take that win. They want the money, they want that first.
Yeah, and I think not only is now the experience deficit showing for 5 Lonely Men, you know, we're seeing a bit of that. Oh no.
Cynical.
She's got
not
the
gonna
rocket
get in
jump,
place.
Trist should be fine.
Yeah, a well-timed block thanks to Trundle's pillar would have worked out to cancel that jump, but just a little bit too far away, unfortunately. Not going to get that speed that he needs. As now Pink Horde is the name of the game, just able to clear out. No, he's not. That final auto, a little bit too risky for Cynical. As Serenity should be fine if given the jump. There it is. The run down in the jungle saying, no, this is our jungle again, guys, beware. Do not step further than this line.
I like what we're seeing out of 5 Lonely Men. I think specifically from Serenity, we're seeing a lot more proactive play, which is what we mentioned earlier. We don't want to see them playing reactively. You know, actually now doing well on the roaming support, especially now that we've seen through all 3 games, they've been putting their ADC, 5 Lonely Men have been putting their ADC on safe picks in the hopes, or we assume with the thought of letting the support roam, and we're finally seeing it come home.
Right. So that was a kind of a little bit of a cheeky smite steal there, if you guys missed it. Rumble smiting away the cannon in the mid lane. But a banter between players saying, no, this is mine now. It's now again not looking for the execute, unfortunately caught off in a bad spot, and there it is. So mid lane, it may be looking okay as the double disengage flash. No, it's not. 5 Lonely Men losing again out on Summoners. But I mean, honestly, like, just looking at the top lane again, so we've seen how Royalty have been basically trying to ban out their top lane international as best as they can, and it's been working. So they gave him the opportunity of playing mid on 3 different occasions, did not work out to the same level. Obviously with the sit makes it kind of difficult, but realistically, even as like a Grandmaster player, how many champions can you actively practice at a time? Like, he probably has the games in the past or not, but I mean, realistically, you can't expect this guy to have played Gnar, Jax, Fiora, like all these champions like recently to the point where he's comfortable, and perhaps that was that sign through that double jump towards the turret in that 1v2 situation before.
Yeah, and I mean, League, like most games, is like riding a bike. Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh,
In this case,
that's
it's gonna be
Tristana. Just
Tristana riding
Oh.
Trundle, make that the Nivea as well, and we can see the jump, the hop, the jump again, and Pete now out of here as the double, as well as this Tristana yet again taking over the game like we saw last time. I think Tristana actually finished the previous cast on Tristana with 0 deaths, so again, very, very comfy.
wow.
Serenity.
Yeah. And Tristana was such a strong international pick for this main reason. She's able to handle herself, you know, having essentially 2 flashes with that rocket jump, but also just a lot more damage than most mid lane mages can deal with early in game. And we're just seeing that put well into practice during this game as well.
So Tristana itself in the mid lane became a very, very like popular pick partway through the previous season. Honestly, haven't seen it for a bit, but it does 2 things really well. That's dominate mid lane through potentially having that Hail of Blades build, which was nerfed a little bit. But if you can guarantee that you win that matchup, it snowballs pretty much out of control to the point where it's able to destroy
Oh
turrets
my
incredibly
goodness.
easily. It just jumps between lanes, killing plays, and that's exactly what we see top lane. Honestly, I would hate to be on the comms for 5 lane men right now because it looks like their mentals are booming and the gates are just being kind of just let open, saying, hey guys, Royalty, you clearly are just better than us. Good job, take this victory.
I do feel sorry for 5 Lonely Men because I think this is the game where we've seen them do the most early. Kind of like not rolling over, showing their bellies and just giving up and saying, okay, cool, well, this is what's happening, so let's just wait for our next moment. Where they have been trying to make things happen this game, but Royalty kind of just saying, no, you don't get to do that, sorry. We want to win this game, we want to win this series, and we're gonna take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a hot minute since Royalty has been top dog, so definitely something they could use, especially after, I believe, before playing under the B5 title. Now back to Royalty, as Royalty is that name that I think majority of SA players know at this point. They're like kind of that team that's been around for a long time, has had a bit of a rough recent history, so this new roster definitely gonna let them get back to the top dog position, if not versus the likes of 80k that we made to see make that return. So kind of excited to see what the future of League of Legends and SA has, but in case of top lane, the future maybe now is not. He's just trying to get away from Aatrox. That gold drinker completed versus just the nice flash though. That is you can see the
Very good.
the moment. He took that extra half a second to make sure he has the lineup right, as that flash is very punishing. If you're slightly off, you do not make it across. So both top laners showing us, hey, we've had this practice. The pillar dropping, Seneca stuck in place as he locks himself there for a little bit longer, gets pushed back. But now wants the reset, or he wants the shutdown onto Tristana, but that positioning says otherwise. As Ignivia goes golden, and Butter becomes scrambled eggs as she is the new focus, but positioning Pete is showing us that he's not that comfortable with the stuns. And Nivea, I think he's just playing with him at this point.
Yeah.
What? The DPS
he
is
did
taken,
so.
ignite the shutdown. 600 gold
my
bounty.
goodness.
Pete able to turn it around.
That was amazing to see. Maybe not wasting time, but maybe buying time in that Anivia ult, because I think those few extra ticks of damage that Tristana took there is what eventually turned that fight. We saw Bard trying to get the heal in to potentially save Triss, but Ignite just too OP at this stage.
So we can still see how top lane BB playing incredibly aggro despite knowing that he is on the back foot. So this Aatrox has so much gold compared to him, 3,500 versus the 4,800, so that's almost 1,300 gold advantage towards Gnar. So in that case, he's lost his tier 1 turret. What does he do? He fakes the engage, immediately jumps out, baits the Aatrox ult, which makes him a little bit easier to match in this next opportunity topside. So the reset comes through, Gnar needs to try find an opportunity where he can get Mega, potentially beat the Gold Drinker advantaged Aatrox, and if that is the case, then perhaps 5 Lily men can make their way back into this game through that top lane opportunity, but way, way easier said than done.
Yeah, and I just want to draw a little bit of attention towards bot side, where we do have an almost 40 CS difference between Varus and Kate. A little unfortunate at this stage. I think that early kill, first blood essentially to Varus might have helped with that, but also Kate maybe just not as strong as she needs to be able to have an effect on this game as well.
Yeah, Kate unfortunately not really showing up too well, bit of an arcane repeat, if you will. So she's not having much success. Topside, however, you know who is Tristana in this case, so perhaps she should be in Season 2 as we do have that siege coming through for top lane. Looking to try and break open the gates, but no success as we have a bit of a pinch. Zenico looking pretty good as the 1v1's not going to quite get there, but the flash a little bit leads as well, and will drop in his place as the return kill over over to the jungle for the side of Royalty. And I mean, Rumble almost going down to the Trundle in that 1v1. He makes you squishy, he makes you vulnerable. And in this case, it's going to be Pete caught out alone again, as we should see the jump come through. No, we don't. Perhaps cool down, but dies to the bomb nonetheless.
Oh my goodness.
Make it
We're
stop, Androva.
seeing
Make it
just
stop.
absolute domination from this Tristana, you know, kind of reminisce of what we saw PP doing yesterday on his top lane champions. So sad to see the scripts being flipped, but this Tristana just absolutely, you know, you can tell that Royalty's mid laner knows their limits. In this case, you know, playing this Tristana so perfectly, using that mobility to his best advantage to get around the map, to get those kills and then slip out instantly. And unfortunately, 5 Lonely Men don't have a lot of reliable CC, or at least point and click CC, to deal with this Trist once she jumps in.
I mean, at this point, it kind of feels like you're delaying the inevitable. It's a very slippery slope, and Royalty is sliding their way into that final victory in the best of 5. So, game 3, not looking good. 5 Lonely Men. You had an opportunity, you had this last chance to pull it back, and I mean, it's not really working out. You can see again that it just works for the side of Royalty as they're able to get pick after pick onto top lane. Priority as he has the quickness, maybe jumping a little bit too far, but don't follow up. Unfortunately, Pete not going to get that last little bit of damage, so Tristana able to slip out stage right into that dragon pit as the fight does continue. So far, only 1 member drop on the side of Royalty versus the 1 from 5 Lonely Men. But something else to keep in mind is that that means jungle is down, so potentially Nasher going to be on the table in the in the future. As I mean, honestly, 5 Lonely Men just not in a position to contest whatsoever.
Not at all, you know. They don't even need the team fight. I think Royalty just puts the Tristana on the back line. She does what she needs to, and that's the team fight over, you know. At this stage, I think she's strong enough to account for 2 champs.
Run away. Commit or run. There is no in between, and that's exactly what we've got now. The jump through the pop. And you're dead, you're out of your Gnar. 0 for 8. The run it down strat, working out Royalty, finding that chink in the armor in the form of just not letting PP play the game whatsoever tonight.
I mean, realistically, what do you do against this Tristana? She's got 2 items, the BF sword going in for the 3rd item. Like, strongest person in the game, whereas on the side of 5 Lonely Men, we've still got that Gnar struggling to finish his first mythic, and even Rakan at this point not sitting on their support mythic either. Things are looking scary.
Yep. Top tier tier 2, a bit of a bait, so I like the fact that Trundle, in this case, Cynical opting just to walk away. A lot of players fall for that mistake of trying to defend tier 2 and lose an inhibitor as a result. Your best bet at this point is trying to again slow the game down. You have the Nivea who has that wave clear, as we have a bit of a fight, but it looks like 5 Lonely Men taking the fight that I said they need to avoid, as this is how you have the gates open. They have a Nivea, and Nivea is great at wave clearing. She can just destroy minions, while Royalty have to then take Rift Herald, slows the game down a bit, and at this point, taking the fight means that now you have an inhib open for taking. Darkside taking himself, rest in peace, man down in this case in the form of Caitlyn, as Pete just getting that free exit through the back, as it does not end up mattering. 23-5, the ace is there, and a Royalty looking like our new champions.
That Tristana attack range just took me by surprise right there, but you know what? Just knowing how to play the... Oh, what happened there? Rakan?
Negative damage.
Standing
Mythic
still?
item still out of sight for Gnar, as they're doing their best to try to run them down. The knockup is ready. Should result in at least 1 kill. Trundle pillar as well. Just go down, die already, Unique. You're not meant to live this much.
Nope, and the table's being turned.
I spoke too soon. Mega?
No. Oh my goodness.
Mega dead. Not for 10 for 0.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yep.
Tough times. They're apparently lost.
I don't even know where to begin. I have no opinions, only shock.
I mean, it's not a fun one to see. Like, it's not a fun one to be in. I think Five Lonely Men kind of knew what to expect going into the series, and they just did not make that preparation of having the team kind of just trying to play towards countering what obviously Royalty were looking to do, which was shut down that international. As Royalty knew that as the strength. So how do you counter that? Send as many members up to counter that if that makes sense. And it's just we just did not see it in any form of either of these 3 games, and as a result, Royalty is having smooth sailing, saying thanks for the money, guys. You can take second place, but first is ours. We want the big prize. We want to be champions, and that's exactly what we're having here. So kind of a situation again of just trying to delay that inevitable, as we should have gates now broken open through the form of that Rift Tail through mid. And Nivea again way too far overextended. They cannot defend this. This is a case of defending in the turtle stance, basically protect the base, don't let them crack the inhibs. Stand in a position where exactly this can't happen. Like, Tristana realistically shouldn't be allowed to jump into your base for free. Obviously easier said than done with that bot ultimate being available, and that right there is the triple. Caitlyn finally on the scoreboard, 2 for 3 for naught, finding herself a cheeky shutdown, but in the end does end up dropping to the Varus snipe and Keith, the final straw for the ace at this point, kind of just playing with their food really.
Yeah, 5 Lonely Men running it down a little bit, attempting to defend not even a turret. I don't even think they have the turret up there, so I'm not quite sure what they're doing so far up the map. Then going into that bottleneck there in the jungle, it's so... I think there's just a lot of confusion, miscommunication. 5 Lonely Men probably feeling a little lost right now, and also not sure about what they need to do to try to turn this around. We're looking at a game
There's no turning around.
15,000.
5 lost men as
15,000 gold difference.
And round
That will
difference
be
at this
game,
point.
I think.
So, I mean, they've put up the best they could. It looks like they're still trying. I respect the fact that nobody's really intentionally sprinting at this point, as it is very much a case of just Royalty looking super strong with this new and improved roster. Unique definitely adding value, and we saw that in some of the previous series, especially versus the likes of some of the other sides. I mean, honestly, five Lonely Men doing the best they can, trying to hold open that possibility, but at this stage just really delaying the inevitable. But we'll see what happens as Teamfight about to break out. I'm sure we should get some sort of engage from Bod when he finds that opportunity, he finds that trigger pull. Just on the other side, just cashing top wave.
Oh, missed on the bot out, but Royalty have 2 options now. They can force the siege once these super minions come in, which I think they're gonna do.
There it is. Serenity pulls the trigger, the fight is engaged, the start of the end is... It's actually going to be the shutdown, Trundle able to find himself 1 kill, as unfortunately top lane should DPS, that it will be him down, 3 members dropped, versus the 1, make that 4 members, Darkside not having the damage, but the double there, and GG well played, Royalty taking that fight victory, 36-7, not even remotely close, and Royalty taking that series 3-0 in that best of 5 finals. GG well played.
Wow. GG, well played.
There you have it, your All-Star Underground League of Legends winners. Royalty Esports, an impressive style there, a 3-0 victory. That 3rd game, they showed that they are the dominant force in South African League of Legends right now. Sheepii, are you as impressed with this Royalty roster as I am?
I mean, I kind of saw it coming with the 3-0, but I didn't think it would be done this quickly. And I mean, they knew what their win condition was. Royalty able to play towards it. They're looking stronger overall as a comp. So I would have liked to have seen us get to game 4, but just not happening and not going to be able to, unfortunately. But nonetheless, I hope none of the players are salty. At the end of the day, we are playing for a decent chunk of change, and there's a lot of bragging rights on the line as well. So hopefully, no real mental issues, especially with internationals. You never know how it can be. So hopefully, we do see him again in future tournaments. This is not just like a one-off situation.
30,000 Rand prize pool, and Royalty Esports takes the chunk of it. Androva, what does this mean for the future of League of Legends in South Africa? Do we see new rosters form next year? Do we see shakeups? And do we see more tournaments, most importantly?
I think we definitely see some roster shakeups. I mean, this weekend alone, I think we had quite a few teams that were mixed and borrowing players here and there. And I think honestly, everybody put on a pretty decent performance this weekend. Huge prize money on the line. You know, I think more than I actually haven't kept up with prize money in previous league tournaments, but very decent amount. Hopefully teams feel a little more hopeful about more tournaments in the future, because I think we've definitely seen here that we do have like quite a supreme display of talent in our local rosters, and hopefully people look forward to watching that more in the future as well.
I know that I've looked forward to watching it. I thoroughly enjoyed today. I've absolutely loved the support on social media for the South African League of Legends community. I want to see more of that. Show some love. Shout out to Royalty Esports for an incredible victory. And of course, a shout out to Incredible Connection. All Star Gaming has got behind South African esports this year in a big way. The end of the year, we've seen FIFA, Apex, CSGO, Fortnite. I'm trying to remember all of them. Valorant, Siege, Sim Racing, and League of Legends as well. Look at that. That is nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with our producer in my ears, suddenly trying to shout all the names at me. So thank you, Anthrax, for fixing that one for me. You always make me look so good. Incredible Connection has just put their weight behind us. And also, we've seen so many content creators being able to be showcased on their platforms. And I know that this is just the start. All Star Gaming is planning to come into 2022 big. So make sure you show them some love. There is lots on the way. A big thank you to Androva and Sheepii for welcoming me into the League of Legends fold. A big thank you to you as well for being so nice. I was a little bit nervous, but you were great. And of course, a big thank you to all of you for supporting South African esports, whether it be League of Legends or any of those other titles. We're a small community, but we're a passionate one. Once again, I just want to remind you, as you decide to spend some cash on yourself with all your gaming goodies, make sure that you support Incredible Connection in store or online. They've got some great deals, some great specials for the festive season, and you can, of course, buy on credit. There's no interest. They offer all the major network providers on contracts. I think that they're only retailer to offer all of them, so you can go check that out, and they have such a great collection, and the service is great. We are appreciative of their support. Finally, it has been, look at this cheeky one. Look at your hats.
Royalties through
Still
and
showing
through.
off the hair. There you go. Sheepie's showing where his loyalty is. It is always an honor and a privilege to tell the stories of these incredible players. It has been a fantastic ride through the underground. I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I hope that the players have enjoyed the experience. If you have, jump onto social media, hashtag IC All Star Gaming, share that love. Make sure that you shout them out, and make sure you shout out your favorite players, whether it be from today or in the past, just to let them know that we enjoy the spectacle that they put on. From myself, I just want to say a huge shout out to the production company that is involved in making Underground a success, Metal State. I don't think you see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes, but they really do a fantastic job of making sure that we get quality products and quality productions on air every week. I also want to thank Anthrax for being such a great producer. If you were wondering about the incredible music you hear in the breaks, that's all him. He chooses each song individually, so it looks like he may have a career as a DJ if this doesn't pan out for him and Metal State goes under. So don't worry, Anthrax, you covered. And then finally, the thing that you've been waiting for, the most important thing, we told you at the start of the Underground, 25,000 Rand gaming PC is up for grabs. I know that Sheepii followed the Twitch account. I know that Androva followed the Twitch account. I know that I did too, because we all got told about 5 minutes ago. Oh, Arrow as well, some of the other casters. We got told about 5 minutes ago we've all been taken out of the draw. We're not salty about that at all. But I do now get to announce the winner. What a cool way to start December and end 2021. I mean, 2021 has been pretty rubbish. So this is a cool way to make sure that you go into 2022 with a big bang. Congratulations. Your name is about to run across the stream.
What?
There you are. Oh, I love saying this. Hard Rock 789, 25,000 Rand gaming PC. It is yours. One of the IC All-Star Gaming crew will be sliding into your DMs, and you'll be able to win the PC. Sheepii, we're on a broadcast. You can't show your salt in real life.
He's basically the manager of 5 Lenny Men.
Well, they had to
True.
win something, Sheepii, so now they got a gaming rig.
Not
There you
rigged,
go.
though.
Sheepi's not happy about this. Oh, that's unfortunate. Once again, thank you. Congratulations. Hard Rock, it's great for you. Sheepi's just a little bit upset that we got taken out of the draw and that you won, but so be it. Once again, an honor and a privilege always to tell these stories. We will be back in 2022, and I don't have a sign off, so that's it. Go do something else now.